sports coverage of the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL
on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Welcome to Perth Stadium as the hottest team in the AFL, the Fremantle Dockers, take on Hawthorn. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts Shane Woden and Beau McDonald for what promises to be an absolute beauty. Let's not hesitate and head straight downstairs. Akash Fodadar has a very special guest with him.
I do indeed, Clint. I've got the Fremantle head coach Justin Longmuir in game 50 in charge. How do you reflect on your first 50 games as a senior coach?
G'day guys. It's been a bit of a journey. First couple of years with COVID and hubs and that type of thing is something I probably didn't prepare for in my apprenticeship. But I think we can look back and say that we've improved, every step along the way, and we've been able to, bring a young group through together so far, and under no illusion that we've got a long way to go. But we're heading in the right direction.
And Justin, looking ahead to today's game, we've got another, greasy underfoot, a bit of rain in the air. How do you approach that wet weather football challenge?
We've talked about being a bit more predictable to each other in the wet, and that's mainly with ball in hand. It's been well documented that we've been struggling to score in the wet, and I think that just comes back to us not being predictable to each other and not being composed enough with ball in hand. So we've gone to work on that. We've done a few little bits and pieces. As for today, I'm not sure it's going to get as wet as it was against Collingwood, but we're prepared for it.
All right, I know the team upstairs has got a few questions for you, so I'll throw you up to our experts.
G'day, JL, Shane Woden. Good luck today, mate.
Thanks, mate.
95% of the game, yes, you'll focus on yourself today. What's Hawthorn's weapon, one wood that you scouted that you need to strip away from them today?
Their ball movement, Wowie. They've been able to move the ball really well from their back half at times this year, and they're a team that plays with a lot of dare out of their back half, so they take the game on, and they've got some players who can break the game open from back there. So we've talked a lot about our front half defence this week, and we'll need to be at our best there. So
density through the corridor to obviously break that 45 and slow them down?
Yeah, hopefully. First and foremost, we need to get the ball to ground in our front half and bring the pressure we've brought all year. It's good to have Sonny and Switter back in the team. They bring outstanding pressure and have all year, and we'll need them at their best today.
Mate, Griff Logue, his new role, what have you made it early days? I know it's only a couple of weeks now, but he seems really invested in it, looking to take it on, do it for the team. But what have you made so far of that?
Yeah, you're right. He has invested in it heavily. He's been a pro with the way he's approached it. And I've been probably a little bit surprised with the amount of forward craft he's shown. We've given him probably a couple of defensive roles and looking to negate defenders first and foremost, but he's been able to get on the lead and take some really good marks and show some, like I said, forward craft. So, I think it's worth persisting with, and there's going to be times throughout the second half of the year we need him down back, but I think it just adds to his flexibility and overall knowledge as a footballer, being able to play forward. So, it's been handy.
JL, Beau McDonald here, mate. How you going?
Good, mate.
Hey, talk about the ruckman, big Sean Darcy. I've loved his work over the last couple of years, just getting better and better, especially his body strength and his work rate and his efforts. Is that a part of the game today you've spoken about that you can reckon can be a real niche for you, especially with the 666?
Yeah, I thought our centre bounce work was the best it has been all year last week, and managed to score a little bit out of there as well, which was probably a first for the year. Sean's been outstanding since he's got a bit of continuity. He's had a bit of a slow start with the year, being in and out, but I think his last month has been really strong. And last week he played, under the flu as well, so he was quite crook going into the game. So it made his game even more impressive. So he's going to be important to give our mids first look at. I think if you looked at one area that was a little bit inconsistent throughout the year, it's probably our midfield, and that was probably mainly personnel early for the first month of the year. We just had players coming in and out, and had slow starts to the year with injury and lack of pre-season. But our mids have started to get going in the last month, and it's been really important.
Fremantle coach Justin Longmuir chatting to us pre-game here on Grandstand AFL. Justin, Nat Fyfe, where will he start today?
He'll start on ball. Like I've said all along, he'll split his time between forward and mid. Not sure how that'll play out at the end of the game, but we're looking for around 50-50 mid-forward. Really keen to get him into the game, to be honest. He's nervous. he's a little bit rusty and off his best, but I'm really keen to start him on ball and get him into the game and get him back to doing what he does best, and that's hunting and being a real physical force in there.
Justin, I looked at the 2 games you lost against Collingwood and Gold Coast, and I thought, you were significantly out-tackled against Collingwood, against the Gold Coast Suns around the ball. You were minus 16 in contested possessions, minus 17 in clearances, particularly in wet weather. We know that it's a dynamic, fleet-footed midfield with Sarong, Brodie, Brayshaw, but is Fife the kind of big body you need, particularly when it's wet?
If it's wet? Yeah, it helps. It helps. We just got to manage. Our personnel in there. We want a real balance in our midfield and make sure we're not too predictable or not too predictable in there. And you're right, in those games we probably didn't bring our best around the footy, and especially Collingwood, they were more desperate than us on that day. So we definitely don't want to allow Hawthorn to be more desperate than us today.
Justin, a broad question. I mean, one thing I think we've all enjoyed about Fremantle this year is you've been very transparent. I've heard you, amongst others, speak a lot about the trademark. Is being open and transparent one of those trademarks at the club this year?
Not necessarily specifically. What we want to do is make sure we communicate really honestly and give each other feedback when it's warranted. And that's just not the playing group, that's everyone at the football club. We want to be transparent with each other, but we want to be transparent with the public. And I think that holds you in good stead if you're able to say what's on your chest at any one time. And if you're not happy with something that someone's doing, you pull them up on it. So it's not specifically in the trademark in the terms you put it in, but in a roundabout way it is.
Justin, Clint Wilden, congratulations on the season so far. There seems to be a genuine enjoyment with this group. And I know footy's a serious business, it's win-loss, but how important is that the players, that the coaching staff actually are enjoying what they're doing at the moment?
Yeah, it's critical. It's critical. And we've got as I said before, a young group that have come through together, and they're really leading that. They've connected really well together. They've brought new players into the group really well. And they really care for each other. And when you really care for someone, and you really hope they be successful. And I think they're the things that we've celebrated each other's success on and off the field. We've celebrated putting your body on the line and picking each other off the ground, and that's really driven by the connection and the care for each other off the field. So it makes me really proud when I see those sorts of things on the field.
And one last one, and I know you don't like to really highlight individual players, but the form of Andrew Brayshaw this year, can you just give us your thoughts on what he's been able to achieve amongst a whole group of outstanding players?
He's just been really consistent. That comes from his training habits and his habits in the off season. He's really wants to be the best footballer and the best person he can be, and he goes to work in every session and tries to get the most out of it. And then you see the byproduct on the weekend of that. It's his ability to be able to cover the ground. I think he's become a more damaging player as the season's unfolded. He's still got a little bit of work to do there, but and he's desperate. That's what you want from your leaders. You want your leaders to be setting the example in the desperation stakes, and he certainly does that.
Appreciate your time as always, Justin. Best of luck today.
Good on you guys. Thanks.
Head coach of the Fremantle Football Club, Justin Longmuir, in his 50th game. His record, he's won 24, lost 25. Can he square the ledger today? Certainly has made some big steps forward with this football club since he joined them. Well done to him, and great that he could join us here on Grandstand AFL. Ahead of Fremantle, up against the Hawks, we'll be joined by Chris Newman, one of the Hawthorn assistant coaches, very shortly here on Grandstand AFL. No late changes to speak of, wherever you happen to be just joining us. Darcy Tucker, the emergency for Fremantle, the medical emergency, while for Hawthorn, Josh Morris is the med sub for them. So the big ins, Switkowski, Walters, and as Ben mentioned, and I wondered who was going to be asking the question, Nat Fyfe returns, the Fremantle captain. First game in 321 days. So a big moment for the Fremantle Football Club and for Nat Fyfe. Been asking the question again, where will he start? Good to hear that he'll be on ball to begin things with. Chris Newman will join us in just a moment. I should let you know that it was raining a little bit earlier on, but the clouds have well, I wouldn't say completely parted, but there are patches of blue sky above us, which is nice. So the moment at this point in time in bright sunshine here at Perth Stadium, and hopefully that continues. We'll head downstairs in a moment to be joined by Chris Newman. In the meantime, let's get a very warm welcome to our two experts, Shane Woden, Bo McDonald. 20 seconds or so. What are we expecting today, gents?
Good afternoon. G'day, guys. How are we? Great to be here this afternoon. Oh, really excited for another contest. I think what Freo have been able to deliver so far, Bo, it's been pretty special, just to get a model of consistency now. Yep. Another interesting question in the wet.
Yep.
And Hawthorn, I think they've had some great victories this year against some quality opposition. Probably let themselves down in a couple of games, but an attacking flair, does that come out today against Freo? So, yeah, a good contest, hopefully.
I'm really interested in seeing, in that same vein as you were saying there, the consistency is Rory Lobb and the tall forwards this game. I want to see him fire again and give that contest, because I think the midfield and the pressure up the field's been fantastic. That's where they've got to consistently start to cash in.
Chance for the Fremantle Dockers to continue to push up the ladder. They could jump into second, at least for a couple of hours this afternoon. Brisbane and against St Kilda to come here on Grandstand AFL, the second of the two games today. Let's head downstairs. Akash Fodadar's with us. Akash.
Yeah, I've got Hawthorn assistant coach Chris Newman with me. Chris, big trip across the country. Freo are in form. What's the message been to your team this week?
Oh, well, big challenge, obviously. Freo are playing some really good footy, really consistent footy, and a brand of footy that is stacking up. So, the themes throughout the week have been pretty consistent for us also. We've got a game style that we want to develop and work on, and we're struggling, or not struggling, but we're striving for consistency right now. So that's our focus.
And it is a little bit greasy underfoot. There has been a little bit of rain around, and a lot's been made of Freo's struggles in the wet. Do you look at wet weather footy as a way to try and expose them?
No, not necessarily. I think I'm not sure about that. I think they structure up really well and cater for any condition. High forwards to get up the ground and help their defence, which will be really important in the wet weather. And their defence is rock solid. So any sort of rain, I think, could potentially suit them. But we've got to cater for both conditions today. I think it might hold off, but we've come from Melbourne, so everything's been 8 degrees down our way.
Yeah, I'll chuck it upstairs. I know our team's got a few questions for you up there.
No worries.
Oh, hi, Chris. Bo McDonald here. Good luck today, mate. Look,
thanks.
Over in the West, you've played some really good football this year, and I suppose your best and your worst has been quite far apart. What sort of things have you identified as a team that when you're playing your best footy tend to happen?
Oh, just simple things, to be honest. Like just the consistent effort is what we're after. We've managed to blood quite a few young players this year, and we're looking to get more and more out of those players, just getting games into those players and trying to level it out with some experience around them. So, I think the consistency, as I said before, was something that we're looking for. We've been in a lot of games. There's probably been 3 games this year we've been really disappointing, and all the other games have been really competitive. So we understand that's where we're at. We've got a lot of development left in us, and what an opportunity today against arguably the best team in the competition.
Newey, good luck today. Shane Woden here.
Mate,
a couple of changes. Obviously, Lewis and Gunston out. A fair bit of your scoring power, not only this year, but in previous years as well. What do you do differently, or what does the coaching group bring to the table today to rectify that?
Oh, we'll be looking to give our forwards a really good look. There's obviously a fair out. Mitch Lewis is in some really good form and developed really well as a player, has a real presence forward. We feel like it's an opportunity for Jacob Kaczynski today to be that power forward that we're after, bringing the ball to ground and giving us a really good contest. That's been his one wood really the whole entire season, and Mitch Lewis is the other one. He's the one that will mark the footy, but also his ability to half contest is really important. So, for the aerial dominance that Freo get in their back half, we'll be looking to cause a contest, and hopefully our smalls can get to work.
What's impressed you with Sam Mitchell first year at the helm, and what he's brought to the club, or brought back to the club, as a coaching group, and with you as assistant coaches?
Yeah, well, he's ultra intelligent, has quite a sharp footy brain, and he's got a really good balance at the moment of being, not light-hearted, but he has a real sense about him that the players buy into, and then he's got a hard edge when he needs to as well. So, he's been really strong on driving the right standards, and that's sort of what we expect. That's where we're at as a group, and he's at the forefront of driving that.
Will Sam Frost play forward today, Chris?
I think we've got some flexibility there with Frosty. think it might be a wait and see type of job, that one. But he's been a player for us that's competed in the ruck. He's played full back, obviously, in the early part of the year, and then he's gone forward and created some contests for us. But we just haven't really, one of those games was a Gold Coast game, and our method going inside 50 was really poor. So we haven't had a really good look at that, but I think we've got the flexibility to go across all lines with Frosty.
I thought there was some really good coaching from Sam Mitchell last time out, obviously in the rain, and it felt like you were very handball happy in the first half, and that changed and you were more direct in the second half. I guess, what were the conversations around that, and how much does that flow into today, given the potential inclement weather?
Yeah, well, we have to be ready for both conditions, don't we? So, I think the Gold Coast game as well has been, that was a game that was really slippery conditions, and they handled the conditions really a lot better than what we did. And last week, you're right, we're sort of handball happy and fueled a lot of their front half turnovers, the Pies. So I think in any team that goes into a game like this can expect to play some pretty simple footy if it's wet. But we'll see what the conditions play out, and right now we'll have contingencies for both.
A little bit of a multifaceted question, but the stats tell us that Hawthorn are rated the worst clearance team in the competition. Now you're coming up against one of the best, one that's been very dynamic and fleet-footed and has worked really well in concert with one another with Brodie, Sarong and Brayshaw. They get back Nat Fyfe, which is not great news for you guys, but how does that change what you expect from them? What have they done well, and how do you stop them today?
Oh, they're really tough and they're really clean. They're the two simple things that they do really well. Guys like Sarong that are around the footy, really tough, puts his head over it and then can follow up. I'm sure Fyfe will do the same when he's in there. They've obviously Sean Darcy is one of those ruckmen that provides first use and a follow up and a presence. So, we've been a little bit hamstrung with our rucks. We haven't had a ruck for quite a few weeks this year. So, we're hoping that Ned Reeves comes in today or he's in there last week as well, that provide a real contest for us and give our mids the best possible chance. I think, we're going to have our work cut out for us, but if we're going to be physical and strong in there, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Chris, we appreciate your time. Best of luck.
No worries, boys. Appreciate your time.
Bet he wasn't expecting, though, to be in a stadium that sounds like it's Edinburgh military tattoo. That's the WA Police Pipes and Drums band you can hear in the background. Fremantle doing a little bit of, an effort to try and show what the WA Police does around the community. Nicely worked from Fremantle, but it's not the build-up that you'd expect.
No, certainly different.
I've got a Scottish dad who was a police officer, so I feel right at home right now.
Lots to talk about. Nat Fyfe returns for the Fremantle Dockers. It's been the story of the past 2 weeks. How would he return? Came back through the WAFL, ticked every box last week, and then gets his opportunity to show just what he can do. The dual Brownlow medalist, 3-time best and fairest winner. He's back in the purple for the first time in 321 days. We mentioned some of the random stats. Hawthorn today playing for club win 1,000 in the VFL AFL. Wow. So the 7 other clubs, or the teams that have actually made the 1,000 win record, are, this won't surprise too many, Collingwood lead the way, 1,569, Carlton 1,445, Essendon 1,405, Geelong 1,374, Sydney and South Melbourne, of course, 1,196, Richmond with their win this week, 11.95. Melbourne, 11.29. They're the 7 clubs that have so far breached the 1,000 wins in the VFL AFL history. Hawthorn win today, and they'll become the 8th club to do so for those who like those sort of random stats around the place.
Very random stat. Considering they were a powerhouse for such a long time.
But they were also awful for a long time before that as well. So, you get that sort of balance between the two when they were not winning for a long time and then they sort of leaps and bounds in the 80s. Yes. And then, of course, that amazing run that they had, 2008, and then the 3 premierships in a row, which I bring up, of course, because that was the last time and the only time that Fremantle made a grand final. And they face a club today, Hawthorn, who stood there and beat them in 2013. And of the sides in this competition, Fremantle have tasted the least success. The bogeyman has not been West Coast, oddly enough. The bogeyman for the Fremantle Football Club is actually Hawthorn. No team they have won less games. They've won 11 of their 39 games. just a 28% winning record against the Hawks. And the Hawks have been there on their biggest ever day in the club's history and beat them again. So Fremantle, we talk about the big steps that they have made in recent times, and they certainly have. They're starting to take another one against Hawthorn. They've now won their past 3, and after beating the seeds, well, the top 2 seeds in Melbourne and Brisbane, if they can continue, as Ben likes to say, well, hold serve once more, then they will show that they've taken another step forward, because the Hawks have been the bogey side for Fremantle ever since they entered this competition.
It's an interesting point you make, Clint. If they beat Fremantle today, they've beaten the 3 top sides.
That's right, the Hawks.
And back to my point, where their best is very, very good, but the gap between their best and their worst is way too big. So it's going to be a really interesting contest today. I think it'll be really interesting to see what Fremantle's heat and pressure does to Hawthorn, because that's what's got most teams they've played against this year. They've been terrific. JL said, look, he felt they've been a bit consistent in the midfield, but certainly their pressure, I think they're number 1 for defence in the league, or up there abouts at the moment. So that's what Hawthorn will have to contend with today. The big Reeves in the ruck, 209 centimetres going big against lad. Darcy. He's got a big game, because if Darcy gets on top there and they get the ascendancy, they get proactive in there, they're going to be hard to stop getting the game played in their forward half.
Yeah, territory's a big thing today, isn't it?
Yeah, so look, I reckon you'd be... But, you know, sometimes also, Darcy's been winning a lot of hit-outs. Sometimes as a midfielder on the opposite side, you go better because you start sharking them and you get there first. It's just going to be a really interesting battle inside there today.
It'll be more around ground level. You know, what do the mids do, and how do they get to work, and do they hunt? Without a second ruck too, who does fill that breach when Reeves does need a breather? So that'll be important. I think Frosty will play forward. Benny, he just wasn't able. He's going to. He's kicking snags in the warm-up, wasn't he? So, and roosting from 50. Oh, huge for both teams, you know. Again, does Freo, keep challenging it? You know, consistency is the thing. That's how you want to get to September. But and Hawthorn will throw, I think, different barbs at him all day. I think Sammy Mitchell and his footy IQ and his coaching nous might throw a few different curveballs JL's way. So does it become a tactical little arm swing, arm wrestle in the box as well? Because it might stay dry. I think it's more coastal rain. And does Hawthorn be aggressive with their ball movement from their back half and challenge Fremantle and continue that, or they play down the line and go to contest? I think they have to challenge with no height as much. So they're interesting from all aspects.
And Longmuir and Mitchell will know each other from when Justin Longmuir was an assistant coach at the West Coast Eagles, and Sam Mitchell was a player at West Coast and then moved into an assistant capacity. So he'll have a fair idea of just how cluey Sam Mitchell is with some of his tactical moves.
And Bo, with the amount of work I know you do with coaches in the WA Football Commission, it's fascinating to look at these two coaches. For so often the big names have been dominating, but do you get a feeling that perhaps these might be the two young coaches coming through who could be around for some period of time? Justin Longmuir in his 50th game today, Sam Mitchell still in his first season, but has already shown from a Hawthorn team that nobody expected anything from this year. They've been competitive, they've had some big surprise wins, and they've also shown the ability to do the unexpected and get results from it as well.
Yeah, you speak to a lot of the senior coaches, and a lot of them say, mate, 80% of your work's done during the week. You can pull a few moves up in the coach's box, but
match days, no impact.
It's up to the group out there. I often used to love watching Wayne Bennett at the Brisbane Broncos. He nearly used to fall asleep in the coach's box. It used to be hilarious. Then you watch a Mick Moldhouse who go into but what's better? That's up for debate. But I think. I think it's good to see these young fellas coming through. I went to high school with JL at Govo, West Midland University, and to see him come through and do what he's done with the group. I mean, Sammy Mitchell's in his first year. You get a bit of a honeymoon period, but I think what Fremantle have shown is they've shown some consistent change, and that's what the group wanted to see. And I reckon he hit the nail on the head a couple of weeks ago when he pretty much told the whole club, supporters included, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think that rung true, and that for me just showed this fella's got his head screwed on and he's leading them in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, that was why I asked about their transparency. It feels like they're being very, very open. Like they are hiding nothing this year, Fremantle. And I just wondered whether it was a part of their values. Seemingly not, but he said it's coming through in a lot of what they do, courtesy of the other values.
Trademark's important. Culturally behind behaviours are really what's behind four walls, and it's not just happening on field. What happens off field too, and holding each other accountable to your standards, again, as a group, which brings and breeds success too as well. That's why these clubs of the past that, historically have been so successful consistently. They just live and breathe values and invest in the program, and I think that's what this club now is what it's all about, and they're buying into it, and you're seeing the rewards from it.
Yep, I think with a young fella missing out for having a beer during the week, and a lot of people have really missed the point. The team's got together and set some values and set some standards. That doesn't matter whether it's a beer or you don't wear blue jocks or whatever it is. You don't go against what the team values are. So that's why he's missing a week, and I think that sends a terrific message to everyone else in the group, those playing at the level below as well, and that's how you generate a good football club.
Michael Frederick, the player that we're speaking of here, he will be a blow in terms of what he'd been able to bring. He was lightning quick. He'd been able to find a way towards goals. He'd been an excitement machine, but team rules had been you don't drink on a 6-day break. You have to admire the fact that it was the Fremantle players and their leadership group that said, well, you've broken team rules, therefore club suspension, you miss a week. So he's one of the players that went out of this side. Tucker and Meek also omitted. The ins, Fife, Walters and Switkowski as the Dockers, with the banner saying, let's join forces, as they pay tribute to the WA Police Force. David Mundy, first out of the blocks. He'll run to wait at the top of the banner. For the first time in a long time, their captain is back. He's warmly embraced by some of the youngsters, Young, Schultz, and he will burst through the banner. Schultz and Brayshaw alongside him. And Fremantle, they're out on the ground here at Perth Stadium, looking for their 10th win of the year, looking to continue an impressive run in recent weeks where they've downed the reigning premier and they're able to knock over the number 2 seeds in Brisbane. It'll be hard to ignore their claims for a premiership if they're able to go on and beat the Hawks, their bogey team, this afternoon. They run to the right of our broadcast position, the city end of Perth Stadium. Cool day here in the west, overcast, and it was absolutely bucketing down about 40 minutes ago, but skies have remained dry for the last 20 minutes or so. It's about 20 degrees. More showers are expected. At a 95% chance of rain between now and the end of this game. So the Dockers are out on the ground. We're just waiting to see the arrival of the Hawthorn Football Club. They've lost their last 2, in fact lost 6 of their past 7. They went oh so close last week against Collingwood, going down by just 4 points. And they've lost their past 3 as well to Fremantle. Big challenge for the Hawks and their coach in Sam Mitchell. They're about to join us here at Perth Stadium. Great you could be with us wherever you happen to be around the nation, ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. As the Hawks, with James Sicily again their captain, Tom Mitchell the first to meet the banner. They're about to join the Fremantle Dockers out on Perth Stadium. Big supporter base in the west, plenty of success, and the Hawks burst through. Couple of changes for them, of course. Frost returns from suspension. Scrimshaw's back from concussion. And Jackson Callow comes into this side as well. The outs, McDonald is the omit. And then key ones here with Lewis out through injury with the knee. Gunston out with the ankle injury. And Impey has been managed for Hawthorn this week. Their medical sub, Josh Morris for the Dockers. The medical sub repeating is Darcy Tucker. We'll pause here at Perth Stadium, come back with the full thoughts of our experts, Shane Woden and Bo McDonald, and also find out what conditions are like downstairs with the Cash Fodder. But wherever you're listening on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
Power outages can occur at any time. You may lose your electricity, internet, mobile phone service and landline access. And outages can last for days or even weeks at a time. A battery-powered radio may be your only source of information during an outage or in an emergency. Now is the time to check your radio works, has plenty of spare batteries, and make sure it's tuned to your local ABC radio station. ABC Radio is your emergency broadcaster.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
It's 3rd versus 13th. Fremantle up against Hawthorn. Both sides playing this one and then heading into a bye next week. Can they go in as winners? Will it be the Dockers? Will it be those in brown and gold? Let's get the thoughts of our experts. Who plays on who? We've heard about Nat Fyfe, senior coach of the Fremantle Football Club, saying he will start in the middle, about 50% game time, forward and mid. How do they balance all of that? Let's find out. Beau McDonald, the dual premiership winner with the Brisbane Lions, and Brownlow medalist Shane Woden with you on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, well, I think another interesting dynamic today is obviously young Fredericks went out, but Michael Walters coming back in. Probably fair to say he hasn't been in his best form this season.
Why do you think that?
Look, I'm not really sure. I think the side's got more predictable, which generally makes it a little bit easier for the small forward. So, maybe he hasn't bought into a different role JL's gave him, but it hasn't really looked too different anyway. But he's the sort of player that if he gets back in form, coming into a side that's sitting in the top four, he could be very dangerous on a day like today, Michael Walters, because we know what he can do.
Certainly can be. He's an important and integral part of this group, and what he does to the front half, I think Switkowski's a huge in for him. I think he's a very, very important player to their group now. It's taken him a long time to break into this group consistently, but what he offers, not only in his goal-scoring power, but the heat he brings around the contest has been exceptional. He's been a big out. He's complemented with Frederick too, so that's another big out. So that speed as those high forwards that get in and get out has been exceptional for him. You spoke it off the top, mate, too. That Darcy lob combination against Reeves to be able to bring the territory battle to Fremantle will be really important to give their forwards a good look. So I'll be interested to see what the midfield do today in the balance. I think there's no expectation on Fyfe. I don't think we can have any expectation on him to come in and dominate straight away. Yes, he's nervous. The contest, he'll be exhausted for moments of the game too. So, but the interesting battle, as Clint said, it's the balance of what they do. Mundy and Brodie off the bench. And how much time does he spend? More time forward. So, it'll be an interesting dynamic.
I think Fremantle have changed their DNA now. You look at them and you see them as a physical football side. And I don't think we've looked at them that way in the recent past. And Lockie Schultz, for me, is one that flies that flag. He brings a physical presence as a smaller player up in that forward half. I love to watch him. I reckon he's just sort of like you'd love to play footy with.
Absolutely. Definitely brings it, doesn't he?
He does.
And I reckon that's where their front half games become very important with their heat they bring with those smalls in there. So
if you're Mickey Walters today, you're probably not focusing on the goals, but how can I get involved in this team defence in the forward half and cement me spot back in the side?
Exactly, absolutely. So it'll be a tough game for Fremantle. I think, as you said, Hawthorn do bring a model of footy that is exciting and their best is good enough. They've got a couple of big outs which I think are huge for them, particularly in their scoring power. And they're hard to replace. So it does fall a lot on Kaczynski and their smalls down there. And and does Frost do play there? He did look like he was kicking goals in there.
Missing the two key forwards it might just be a bit far stretch for him today, might it?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially. Again, you've got to really buy in from other areas to make sure that's complemented really well. So, the outside, the Shields and Morris on the wings, v Akers and Aish, they'll be important on the outside here today and be able to support their defence from the other side of the ground and what they do bring to the contest too. I've loved what Jai Newcomb's brought to the footy club. He's coming off a VFL list and, he's a favourite for a rising star along with some of the big names. But what he does around the ball is exceptional. It's not just because he can get 30 times, but the heat he brings, the tackle intensity and the pressure he brings, it's enormous. So it'll be important today.
Do you think Sammy Mitchell will be instructing the Hawks to get the ball moving fast? We don't want to get stuck going down the line with Freo. They set up really well behind the ball. JL spoke about how Hawthorn's strength is their ball movement, and when they do move it quick and they're clean and their disposal efficiency is really high, that's when they're a good team. On the flip side of that, the thing that pulls that down is good pressure on the ball carrier and team defence, which is what Fremantle are doing. So it's going to be a tug of war.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be an arm wrestle, I think, early. And what I do like with Hawthorn's ball movement from their back is they are aggressive with it. They're not going to die wondering. They'll pull a trigger on a 45 inside, and it might be a long 45 and really try and open it up. So, they're aggressive in their back half. They can run and overlap. Do they do that in these conditions? I think they have to early. I think it's not wet enough to not do it. Sicily is an intercept defender. So they've got a couple back there who can win the ball back for them and be aggressive. So, do Freo clamp those intercept players and be aggressive with it? Do they send Grifflow to a Sicily? and make sure he clamps him, not allow him to win the ball back. So intriguing set of circumstances early.
Yep. And Chad Wingard, he's another interesting one for me. Sometimes he's really, really good, and other times he goes missing. Where do you see his best football? I know he plays up forward a bit, but...
Yeah, I think he's a forward. Yeah, I think, and he might have little small spurts in the middle just to be able to give some relief, but I think his best work's done inside 50. He's got class, he's got polish, he can finish off really, really well. He can win a one-on-one, but he's very clever around the sticks, so I think that's where his best footy is now for Hawthorn.
And Griffith Logue obviously going forward and playing that sort of role.
Loved it.
Clunking some balls, kicking some goals. That's been a fantastic move, and I think there's just a little evolution in the season so far, but there's still a fair way to go, and the good teams, they still keep evolving. I mean, teams are going to keep watching Fremantle and seeing what they're doing, so there needs to be a few more tricks up the sleeve, so I thought that was a really good one.
I think that was going to be, and I think we'll call it early in the year, where Griffith Logue probably had to go forward early in the year because of they were fit, they were healthy, there were so many defenders in this group, and I just thought he'd just bring something different to their forward line. His athletic ability, he's strong, his ability to mark it, his ability to kick it. He can be at ground level as well with his superior tackle pressure, and it's given him a new lease on life too, rather than languishing at Peel and spending days down at Thunder, kicking that. I think this has been really important because Tabernar's not the aggressive big boy. He can get in, take a couple. Lob's not the same, but I think this bloke and what he does for the contest in the front half's been pretty special, and I think this will work for a long time.
The crib notes would be, though, be more selfish after last week.
Yes.
Ball's in the goal square. Don't let it try and bounce. Mark it and kick it into the second tier.
I think the flip side of having those three down there that the defenders have got to look after is you're stretching them, and they find it difficult to get off and go and help third up.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more wary. So even if you don't get the ball and you're a bit of a decoy, you're still doing a job for the forward line.
Yeah, because they could have gone Cox forward, Griff Logue back, but Cox is a better defender.
Yep.
He wins one-on-ones, he intercepts, and he plays with more intensity, I think, as a defender than what he did when he was previously a forward. He was a young forward when he was first starting out, but I think what he does there down back's been pretty special for him.
Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, our experts on Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Clint Wilden with you in commentary. Ben Cameron is alongside me before the toss of the coin. Let's head downstairs. Akash Fodadar is with us again today. G'day, Akash.
Thanks, Clint. Sorry, just dropped out a little bit there. Really looking forward to this game. Interesting to note, just in the warm-up a little bit there, the umpires still practicing their bouncing, so they're not too concerned about the greasy conditions underfoot at the moment. It's actually not too cold either. It's about 19, 20 degrees, not much wind. We are expecting some showers a little bit later on. Looking at the starting benches for Fremantle, Hughes, Mundy, Brodie and Banfield, with Darcy Tucker as the medical sub. And for Hawthorn, starting on the bench, O'Meara, Day, Bruce and Butler, with Morris as the medical sub.
Mundy and Brodie starting on the bench for the Fremantle Dockers. For the first time in 2022, Nat Fyfe headed out to toss the coin. Ben Cameron?
He didn't win the toss. James Sicily and Hawthorn have won the toss. They'll attack the city end of the ground in the first term.
Which way are we tipping, gents? And a margin as well, please, if we could. Shane?
Freo by 3 goals.
Bo?
I'll go Fremantle by 20 points. Get him in the last quarter.
Freo by 4 goals for me. Benny?
Fremantle wide. I'll go Fremantle by about 8 goals.
Ooh.
Gone big.
Gone big, Ben Cameron. Go big. Go big or go home.
It's the best, one of the best clearance teams against the worst clearance team in the AFL. A team that is number one at defending ball movement, which is really Hawthorn's only strength. I just think if you look at a lot of the numbers and the trends between these two teams, points heavily towards the purple.
I agree with everything if the rain stays away.
Exactly. That's not to say it'll play out like that, but...
No, I hear what you're saying. The rain does pose such an intriguing question on this contest. Fremantle have lost their past 2 when it's been wet, and they lost them under different circumstances as well. At the moment it's dry. They face the Hawks, who have beaten them up on so many occasions over the years. Things are starting to swing though to the purple. Will that continue this afternoon? It's the Dockers and the Hawks in the West. Grandstand AFL with you right around the country.
Frost forward. Benny called it early.
Let's get started. Ben Cameron.
Darcy and Reeves underway on Saturday afternoon footy. The red footy put down into the ground. Darcy wins the tap. Sarong onto the footy. He'll kick the Dockers inside 50. Going back, Walters coming out, lob. He marks 35 out, slide angle. And right as Justin Longmuir and the Fremantle Dockers would have drawn it up, Darcy, Sarong, lob on the end of it.
It's a good contest at ground level by Sarong.
Was the ability to break that tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just open it up.
It's a 50-50 ball and got through Newcomb. Great kick inside 50.
Kicked 4 goals the last time these two teams met. 2 Brownlow votes on that occasion. He starts it right, brings it back. Freo with the first. Inside 45 seconds, if you don't mind. They're 1 straight 6. Hawthorn yet to score, yet to touch it. Here on Grandstand AFL, Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shamo Woden and Beau McDonald.
Well, I spoke about it pre-game that, Lobb needs to keep building his consistency all through the year, and he's gone whack and kick one within 20 seconds of the start. So that's really good for Fremantle fans. But while you spoke about the Sarong coming through the middle there, the ability to break a tackle. Often when you break a tackle, someone gets out or someone gets free and it causes dramas. It's going to be really important today, especially in that tight contest. If you're making a tackle, you've got to stick it.
Absolutely. Fife sweated on Mitchell really well at centre bounce, caused the fumble, which gave the loose ball to Sarong.
Sarong's hands are exquisite.
At ground level below his knees, very good.
Down to the footy again. Reeves against Darcy. Darcy with the more telling tap. You come out after it. Fife gathers. Gets a hand pass to Brayshaw. Goes back to Aish. Back to Young at right half back. Gets a kick away. The pressure came from Howe, but the kick was good enough to find Brayshaw. He marks at right half back. Inboard pass by foot comes to Clark. Settle things down for a moment for the Dockers. Assesses everything in front of him and then gets told to move it on. Haven't had a touch yet, the Hawks. The kick's towards right half forward. Spoil came from Sicily at the back. Spilled down to Sarong, to Aish, to Brayshaw. Not a great hand pass. Aish did well to gather. Brayshaw hand into Clark. Got the hand pass away to Fife. Backtracks to Brayshaw. They've done that really well, Fremantle. It came to Young. Kicked inside forward 50 and he finds Walters, who marks on his chest. Fremantle have had 17 disposals. The Hawks haven't touched it. And Walters will be going back to have a shot at goal from 49 metres out, slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the right.
Brayshaw's work rate, just go contest to contest, stay involved. It's a big strength of his, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Michael Walters kicks from 45 out, pushes it across the face. It misses to the left-hand side.
He does lean back on it a lot, doesn't he? With his goal kicking.
Yeah, he certainly did on that kick. He just leant back and it faded.
Freo by 7 points, 3 gone in the first.
Hawthorn finally get to touch the footy. Short kick into the back pocket from Scrimshaw to Sicily, who goes long to the wing and cocks the intercept mark for the Dockers.
Get that to ground, Hawthorn.
Just forward of the wing. Cox waits his kick, looking to get it towards Lobb, coming out Morrison, and then Lobb inadvertently soccers it out of bounds on the full, the Hawks to get it back. Chanquoth Jath will get the kick, chips it short to Harry Morrison. Favourite of ours, of course, the godson of the late great Ken Judge, wearing his old number 1 on his back as well. As Morrison kicks around the northern wing towards Reeves, Darcy there as well. Darcy brings it to ground. They pile in more over the top. Eventually it comes out. Nash tries to get a kick away, bumped off it. Mitchell gets it out to Reeves. Floats it inside, attacking 50 for the Hawks. Young goes back, marks it fullback for the Dockers. They lead by 7 points, opening 4 minutes.
Plays on by hand to Ryan. Runs to the right back pocket. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Had too much on it. Marked there by Hardwick of the Hawks at left half forward. Moves it inboard to Shields. The wheel around. Puts it onto the right, sent it deep towards full forward. Big pack up, Frost flew, couldn't mark. Spilled down out the back to Akers, kicked off the outside of the right. Bounced in front of Schultz, gathered it second time to Young. Oh, Nash got him. Just got a hand pass out. Brayshaw might have been held without it. Spilled out again to the Hawks. It comes to Shield, once more to Mitchell. Mitchell from 50 out, kicked around the body, but it's down the throat of Aish, who marks between fullback and centre half back for Freo, and then sends it short to Young, who marks on his chest nearby.
James Aish with a fresh long sleeve jumper for this week. Short kick to Young and onto Brayshaw. Now Brayshaw at Fullback for the Dockers, he'll run around and wait a kick towards Darcy on the wing. Darcy outbodies Reeves, marks and goes quickly. Moves it on to Lob forward of the wing for the Dockers. Lob long inside 50 towards Logue. Hardigan does well, though he drops it. Umpire doesn't pay the mark. Logue onto it. Handball to Collier. Collier sticks the boot out, gets a toe on it and pokes it through. It was almost calamitous from Fremantle. And Collier saved the day at the last minute. Fremantle second, 2-1-13. Hawthorn yet to score. They lead by 13 points, as you can probably work out, 5.5 into the first.
Well done, big Sean Darcy. That was a great contest off half-back against Reeves here to take the mark. But what was best about it, he just didn't go back off the mark and take it slow. He had the presence of mind to see what was up ahead, got the little dinky kink out, and then off to the races they went. Freo looking really sharp,
Oh, yes, they are. Let's see, composed in the back half, real controlled in D50. Saw the one-on-one to Darcy down the line. Good presence of mind by Collier then, wasn't it?
It's a great finish. It's a poacher's finish.
Yes.
The hand pass just had a little bit too much on it. He knew he couldn't gather it, so he stuck out the boot, scored the goal. The Hawks get the clearance from the restart. They'll kick inside forward 50. Ryan flew, hit the contest hard. Ball spilled out to Walker of the Dockers. Clearing kick towards the southern wing. Bounce in front of Giath. Can't quite gather. Try to get it on to Howe. Howe short hand pass back towards Bruce. Tackled immediately. Ball came out the side. Kick from O'Meara smothered once more. Newcomb tries to slap it forward. Goes straight towards Hughes. Quick hand pass. Brayshaw. Schultz. Clark for Fremantle. H. Walters. Hand passes back inside defensive 50. Cox had to get rid of it quickly. Does so. Beautiful work, Freo. Under extreme pressure. And they find Schultz. Couldn't knock the Hawks' effort. Freo just too good.
Schultz kicks to Walters, just forward of the logo. Sends it back out wide to Hughes, who looks towards the attacking 50 and spots up Lob. Fremantle moving it beautifully at the moment. Lob will send it towards full forward. Darcy's down there. Hands to it, doesn't mark. Giath is there for the Hawks. He carries it out under Banfield pressure. And the umpire wants to spin it in.
It's their handball game early, which has been really clean.
Yep.
Right.
One fumble there and you're done, aren't you? They 5 or 6 in a row, just super clean.
2-1-13 to no score. Forward 50 stoppage for the Dockers. Darcy wins it down, but stealing it. Morrison, handball to Newcomb, handball to Mitchell. Eventually a clearing kick coming from Day. Lands on the lap of Lob. Likes his chances. Winds up. It's out to the right. Over there is Logue, who brings it to ground, and Giath is onto it again in the defensive goal square for the Hawks.
Giath tries to go beyond defensive 50, but Clark is up. Punches it over the boundary line for a restart. It'll be thrown into play. Left half forward for Freo. Shields waited. Clark didn't. Got his fist to the footy. Fiery start on the scoreboard. Spun back into play. Darcy won it down for the Dockers. Quickly to get to it, Morrison. Kick towards the commentary wing. Juggled effort. Not quite marked there by Cox. Had time to regather though. Gave it to Hughes from the centre square. Kicks towards centre half forward. Jath got out in front of Banfield. Got a touch on it. Collier going by. Sockers it inside forward 50. Schultz tries to pick it up. Can't. Jath coming back. Gathered for the Hawks, gave it to Newcomb, kicked beyond defensive 50. This is Butler, who'll come out towards Morrison, who marks it right half back for Hawthorn. Freo lead by 13 points, 8 gone in the first.
Morrison looking for a leading target. He finds him in Shields, who wheels and goes. Runs around the wing, now will drive it long. Inside attacking 50 for the Hawks. Cox in front position, brings it to ground. Darcy, the ruckman, doing the roving. Gives it off to Mundy. Bites off a kick into the middle and finds Logue. He drops the mark he should have taken. Has to follow up. Hardigan picks it up. Handball to Newcomb for the Hawks. And now they work it out here through Hardwick. Handball away towards O'Meara. Now Morrison will drive it long towards full forward. Unable to take the mark down there. And Darcy again roving for the Dockers.
Freo through Pearce beyond defensive 50 to Logue, who does take the mark and then maybe massaged away from him by Day. Officials say it's all right. He'll go across half back to Mundy. Kicks Fremantle into the middle of the ground. It's not a great kick.
On his best.
No. Free kick was given to Callow. Moves it on quickly to Jath. Comes towards centre half forward from Butler to Mitchell, and then he steers it out to Kajitsky, who marks in the left forward pocket. Marked at about 45 from goal. It's a 45-degree angle to the left.
It's the first time they've sort of gone to a lead going inside 50. All the other entries have sort of been long and high, and it's just been a nest of purple.
It's a bit easier off turnover, isn't it?
Yep.
It can go quick a little bit for them.
First mark inside 50 of the game for the Hawks. Jacob Kajitsky, the 21-year-old. Big kick for him from right on 50. Looked all right off the boots. It has gone through for a goal. Big pregnant pause from the goal umpire. But a much-needed goal for the Hawks, and they respond at the 11-minute mark of the opening term. 2-1-13 of the Dockers. The Hawks are one straight 6. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts, Beau McDonald and Shane Woden.
As long as footy's been going, you turn that ball over in the corridor, it can be very dangerous, but you want to keep trying it too, don't you? Maybe Mundy just got the decision wrong on that occasion, but your point, Wowie, the transition, if Hawthorn go back at him quick like that, it looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an open forward line, isn't it? Most defences are out of position. Yeah, it's unlike Mundy, really. Not necessarily the skill, it's more the decision.
Yeah.
He had a free player a bit more to the right, didn't use it. I see what he was trying to do, but just didn't come off.
It'll probably be his one mistake for the rest of the year.
On the restart, Hawthorn win it away. Mitchell tumbles it inside attacking 50. Bouncing ball. Unable to gather at Butler for the Hawks. Coming back Hughes. Spills out to Wingard, but Hughes was taken high. Wingard was about to run in towards an open goal, but the free kick will come back. So Hughes to have it in the right back pocket. Butler just clipped him on the way by. So Hughes will kick long towards the wing, looking for Darcy, reaches over the top, can't drag in the mark, brings it down, Day over it for the Hawks. And the umpire to come in and ball it up. Fremantle 2-1-13, Hawthorn one straight 6. Fremantle have lost their last 4 opening halves, so haven't started well in the last month.
Darcy down to Akers, his kick was smothered, Sarong out after it. Met coming the other way by Day, and he was tackled immediately. Switkowski got him. Also Sarong, who was chasing the ball up. Umpire will hurl it aloft on the outer side. Darcy with a more telling tap. Down to Young. Tackled by Butler. Ball jarred out to Brodie. Hand pass back for the Dockers. Sarong. Hand pass back again to Akers. He gets a kick away. Down the southern wing. Backing back Switkowski. Strong spoil at the back. Came from Sicily. Spilled into the middle of the ground. It's a Bramble. Will kick inside the forward 50. No mark taken. Cox did well. Got in front of Kajitsky. Kajitsky goes again. Tries to soccer it forward. Hughes waits. Hard with him. And then seeing it over the boundary line was Bruce. Didn't give him an inch. It'll be a throw-in. Right forward pocket for the Hawks. They're one straight 6. The Dockers are 2-1-13. 13 minutes gone in the opening term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
No ruck nominated for the Hawks, so Darcy takes it out of the ruck. His kick is partially smothered. It goes straight up in the air. In fact, it wasn't because a mark's been paid. So Howe's marked at 48 metres out. Worse than a 45-degree angle on the right-hand side. Boundary line on his right.
Tough kick right on his distance. Kick from 52 or 3.
In the Jack Nunes pocket. Arcs out towards the boundary. Starts it right. It's coming back. It's a good kick. How about that? What a finish from down Howe. And the Hawks storm back into the match. They conceded the first 2. They've got the next 2. It's a 1-point game the way of the home side Freo at the 13-minute mark of this first term.
Couldn't win territory early, could they? Hawthorn, now the last 5 or 6 minutes, started to get control of the game again and play it more in their front half.
Yeah, once again off for turnover and then change the angle. Get it in there quickly. Freo Dockers, defenders, they're pushing back super hard, really, really quickly. And what we're seeing is the half forwards from Hawthorn sometimes getting stuck up in that stoppage, and that's what was going on earlier. But now they're working back just as hard, and even in the contest in the forward 50.
First goal of the season for Daniel Howe, and a ripper it was too. 1-point ball game. It's Darcy against Frost. Darcy won it down. Brodie's over the top of it. Couldn't gather it first time. Merging with it, Nash. He dropped as he tried to swing a boot at the footy. Spilled out the side. Frost attempts to shrug the Brodie tackle. Ball spilled out. O'Meara gathers. Kicks towards right half forward. Bounces in the direction of Brennan Cox. He'll tap it towards the boundary line. He was happy to see the safety of it. Right with him was Callow, one of the inclusions this week for the Hawks. Just his third game of AFL football. Goes back into play again. Darcy against Frost. Darcy palmed it down. Walker tried to get to it, went to ground, tackled by O'Meara as soon as he did. Umpire lurks. He might be in strife here. He is.
He did drag it in.
Yep, and then couldn't get rid of it. So Walker, the Dockers defender, would be frustrated, but he pounced on him, did O'Meara, and Jager O'Meara will be looking to do what Dan Howe did, probably from 3 to 4 metres closer to the middle of the ground just a few moments ago. He'll be kicking from right on 50. Tighter than a 45-degree angle to the right. Kicks truly, the Hawks are in front. Starts out to the right. It swings back. It's through. Hawthorn have kicked the past 3. And they take the lead at the 16-minute mark of the opening quarter. 3 straight 18, the Hawks. The Dockers, who started on fire, have stopped. They're 2-1-13 on Grandstand AFL.
Geez, a couple of really good kicks for goal to get the 6 points there, but I think Hawthorn's defensive pressure and pressure on the ball carriers just lifted a little bit, and it's enabled them to turn the ball over and go back at Freo.
It's a good response from Hawthorn. Quality finishes. Just lost the last couple of centre bounces, which gives the territory battle to Hawthorn.
So they've got Frost in there now, who's given up a fair bit of height.
So Lobb and Frost in the ruck. Lobb brings it down, then wins his own footy. Tries to slap it out to Sarong. Does so successfully. Sarong goes inside 50 towards Logue. Banfield Robes has men everywhere. Goes himself. Snaps on goal and sneaks it through. Fremantle respond immediately. And they're back in front by a point. 3-1-19 plays 3 straight 18. Bo McDonald, Shane Woden.
Well, that could be a growing problem for Hawthorn throughout the day when Rory Lobb's in the ruck against Frost. He's got a much bigger leap and can get his hand on the ball and centre clearances are golden, just as we saw there.
Hawthorn defenders weren't happy with that umpire's call for goal. Yeah, Hardigan didn't have to go. He left his opponent, come to crash over the top, didn't impact. Great work by Banfield. That's just quality 101 craft as a forward. Loves a snap, doesn't he?
Beautiful finish, and Sammy Crawford's pulled Sammy Mitchell's put the big fella back in the middle.
Harry Banfield coming off a career best 4 goals last week from the restart. The non-officiating umpire spotted a free kick for the Hawks. O'Meara takes it, drives it up the corridor inside forward 50, spilled out to Moore, hand passed into traffic, and going through Butler, tackled immediately by Ryan. He's about 35 out from the Hawks' attacking goal, and he's tackled the ground, a ball up the cool. Lob against Reeves. Lob probably with a more telling tap. Won it down. It came out to Mundy. Got it on quickly to Brayshaw. Kicks to space and finds Collier. It's in the sunshine on the southern wing. The terrific soccer goal on the volley earlier in this game. Trav Collier goes on a short run and puts it long towards right half forward. Logue just misread it. Sicily was behind him. Was able to take the mark for the Hawks, who trail by a point. 19 gone in the first. Perth Stadium is the venue for Grandstand AFL.
So the reformed Firebrand kicks around the southern wing. One down by the Dockers. Sarong driven heavily into the ground in a strong tackle from Newcomb. And the umpire says a dangerous tackle.
Just same as Thomas on Langdon a few weeks ago. Mid-air, hit the ribs.
Sarong with the free kick. Wants to switch the play. Brings it to the northern side. Ryan Marks has nothing he likes immediately. Wants H to come at him. Now looks further afield. Kicks towards half forward. Looking for Fife. Up he goes. Doesn't bring it down. H comes through. Hardigan keeps it in. Call for a throw. He flicked it up. Trying to get it to Morrison. So Fife to get the free kick. And a warm welcome back from the Freo faithful. He looks at Harry Morrison and tries to take him on. Wants a 1-2 with Brody. Morrison gets him just Fife able to get the handball away to Waish. He's tackled quickly though. Lots of players around the footy and a ball up just inside the attacking arc for the Dockers. They lead by a point 20 minutes into this opening term.
Still hasn't had a kick though, Fife. That was one down. Switkowski trying to work his way towards the footy to Brayshaw. Was hard up against the boundary line. Was tackled over by Bruce. Still to be a throw-in.
It's interesting with the balance. We spoke about the Fife coming in as a mid. Brayshaw and Sarong swapping inside, outside, wing, mid. Mundy spent a couple of minutes on the wing. They were genuine inside midfielders.
Yep.
Thrown back in. Reeves at the back. Won it down for the Hawks, but it spilled out to Aish. Gathered it quickly. Kicks towards full forward for Fremantle. No mark taken. Bramble's there at the drop. Gets a clearing kick up into the air. They wait underneath it. Newcomb was strong up against Brayshaw. Couldn't quite complete the mark though. Spilled down to O'Meara. Kicks in the direction of Mitchell. Had Ryan to beat. Was able to win it down. Kajitsky kicked forward. Wasn't quite what he was hoping for. Went down the throat of Pearce. He moves it quickly towards the commentary wing. Beats 5 Dockers and sat there for Bramble again at the Hawks. Sweeps it forward to O'Meara. Runs towards right half forward. Kicks inside forward 50. Big pack up. Off hands Ryan. Tried to work it away. Young. Can't break the tackle. He's run down. That'll be holding the ball. He saw it open up for him. Hayden Young decided to take it on and got absolutely wrapped up by Dylan Moore, who can go back and have a shot for the Hawks from 45 metres out at better than a 45-degree angle to the right.
Love what this bloke brings to the team. He's really bring heat, pressure in the front half.
Dylan Moore, not a bad-looking kick. They've been on fire in front of goals, the Hawks. They're back in front. They've kicked 4 straight. 4 straight 24. Fremantle 3-1-19. 22 gone in the opening term. Grandstand AFL from Perth Stadium on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary. Our experts, Bo McDonald and Shane Woden.
I think Sam Mitchell will be happy with their pressure in their forward 50.
Yep.
That's 3 goals from turnover in their forward 50 they've kicked already. 1 off intercept mark, 2 off tackle, and good finishing.
Yeah, I suppose it's a little mini sign that your team's on, isn't it? If they're getting the leg speed in the forward 50 to be able
and
to
on the road too, scoreboard pressure early, put the heat on the home team.
He was rated elite by Champion Data in the off-season, Dylan Moore, and now 18 goals on the season and all of that forward pressure. Back in the middle, no decisive tap. Newcomb after it, right there with him. Brody for the Dockers. Eventually Shields just soccers it out of there towards half forward. Here's Moore again. Sarong picks it up. Handball away to Clark. Handball to Brayshaw. Handball to Aish. The purple down the southern wing. Aish a little unsure. Eventually off to Switkowski. Just gets a handball away. Brayshaw comes back. And now he snaps to half forward.
Leaping up low. Couldn't mark. Spilled down. Banfield got it forward to Lobb. Now to Walters. Walters back to Lobb. Gave him a moment of space. Snapped around the body. He's missed to the right-hand side. 3-2-20 the Dockers. They trail by 4. The Hawks 4 straight 24. 23 gone in this first term.
They worked that well.
Scrimshaw with the short kick to Howe in the back pocket. So Hawthorn with 4 of the last 5 goals in this match as Howe kicks towards Giath, who goes up, marks over Akers. Strong mark at halfback. Excitement machine, Chankwath Giath. Now kick around the northern wing towards the logo, looking for a marker. Kazitsky flies up and takes the mark for the Hawks. They lead by 4 points, 24 minutes into the first.
The commentary wing. He'll put it into the right forward pocket, floating in front. Cox, read at best. There's the spare defender there. Frost shows his frustration with the way the kick came in. As Cox for the Dockers goes back to Clark. Oh, dangerous bounce. Kick finds its way to Ryan, but he had a couple to beat before he could get a clearing kick away for Fremantle. Akers underneath it. Pressure came from the side. Good effort from Howe there. It's over for a boundary throw-in. Left half back for the Dockers. They trail by 4. 24 minutes gone. The opening term here at Perth Stadium. Thrown back in. One down by Darcy, but taken by Nash. Kick was to no one in particular. Got a hand pass away then Moore, though. Only as far as Clark. The Dockers gives it to Brayshaw, now to Brodie, back to Clark. Nice hands again from Fremantle. The kicks towards left half forward, will chance of a big collision here. Switkowski, though, was clever. Tapped it down, got it to Walters, back to Switkowski, works inside forward 50. This is Fife, sweeps the hand pass, Schultz is in the goal square. He puts the Dockers back in front. What a seesawing game of footy we've got here in the West. It's a ripper on Grandstand AFL as Schultz kicks his first of the day. And Fremantle at 4-2-26. Hawthorn 4 straight, 24. 26 minutes gone in the first.
Brilliant awareness from Michael Walters there, just to keep that ball going forward. It was almost one of those handballs where you grab it and handball at the same time. It was fantastic. It was. I thought Fifey might have dropped it on the right then and gone for a snap, but when you've got a teammate standing in the goal square, I suppose you've got to give it up, don't you?
Good awareness.
Yep.
Good awareness. This handball chain.
The handball's been terrific today.
Yeah, I like Fremantle. Very much kicking team.
I've already had 4 lead changes in this opening term. As Clint Wilden said, seesawing contest, crooked bounce. The umpire wants it back. One thing we can agree upon in the wake of the 2013 grand final is that there's no clash between purple and brown and gold.
No.
As Clark comes through, gets a clearing kick, but it's marked by Will Day for the Hawks at centre half back. Wants to switch it towards Morrison and finds his chest. Gives it off to Sicily, running off half back, kicks towards half forward for the Hawks. Bouncing ball, Darcy lumbers across, tries to gather on the bounce. He's tackled quickly, taken to ground by Shields. And the umpire to come in and ball it up. So we'll go again. A ball up at right half forward. The Dockers by 2 points, 27 minutes into the first.
One down by Reeves. Sarong got a hand pass back to Brayshaw. Tackled immediately, picked up by Mitchell. Gets a kick towards full forward. Pearce couldn't take it cleanly. Frost tries to burst through. Got tackled, lost it, slapped it away. Howe tried to work it back to Frost. He's done well to Wingard, not sure where to go. Almost tackled by Sarong. Swept the hand pass away back to Howe. Clark tackles him. Ball jars out once more. Newcomb had it. Holding the ball is going to be the decision here. There was one extra hawk in all of that. It's Shields who got monstered the moment he got it. Couldn't get rid of it. Free kick to Walker for the Dockers. Comes back towards Akers, who then shares it with Young, who marks in the left back pocket. Good pressure from both sides. This time Fremantle prevailing in their defensive 50. Young comes down the commentary wing and up and marking. Nice grab here to Hardigan. He'll trot back the Hawk on true centre wing. He'll kick back inside their attacking 50. It's a 2-on-2 battle. They all go up. No one can take the mark. Spill down to Wingard. Tried to work at the Frost. Sarong gathered off the ground. Hand pass intercepted. Morrison then couldn't take it. He was tackled immediately. Slapped out by Akers to Walters to Sarong. Hand pass on the bounce to Mundy. Tackled without it by Newcomb. Ball spills for Mitchell. Worked it on again. Nash tried to knock it forward only as far as Young. He was tackled by Moore. Lost possession. It came to Brayshaw. Clearing kick towards the logo commentary wing. Lob had it. Hand pass to Switkowski. Hand pass to Walters. Back to Switkowski.
He kicks towards half forward. Should be a turnover. Oh, Scrimshaw swirls it away by Hardigan. Now the Dockers are off inside 50. There's a free kick. Sockering in danger. Kicking in danger from Schultz. It's at 5-3 inside 50. The free kick saves the day. Scrimshaw on the defensive arc for the Hawks. Sets it up towards the wing. Darcy hands on it. No mark taken. Wingard coming through. Now Mitchell. Handball away. Moore snaps it inside 50 for the Hawks. Going to ground, a free kick to Kazitsky. Wingard takes the advantage. Runs into the open goal. Pokes it through. Hawks back in front. A 5th lead change in this opening term. Hawthorn 5 straight 30. Fremantle 4-2-26. 29 minutes into the first.
Just surge forward from Hawthorn. Just get it going. Get a chance, an opportunity for a contest. Yeah, probably just got caught hanging on. Just losing a few contests in D50 at the moment, Fremantle. They look pretty lively when they get in there. It's not a tall forward line by Hawks. Yeah, be disappointed with that JL, with less than a minute to go in this first quarter. You don't want to be giving up red time goals.
Western Bulldogs have made a statement about Bailey Smith. We'll bring that to you at quarter time. As Darcy wins it down for the Dockers. Hand pass comes to Mundy. Worked it on in turn to Sarong. He'll kick Fremantle inside forward 50. Travels the pack and then bounces through for a minor score to the right. 4-3-27. Freo, 5 straight 30. The Hawks, 30 gone in the first.
So Bramble, short kick into the pocket, onto the chest of Hardwick. Bright orange boots, he runs to the 50, clears for the Hawks towards the wing. Going up Reeves, he fists it on, but it comes down in the hands of Ryan for the Dockers. Sidesteps a couple, now looks long inside 50, drives it in, and the siren saves the Hawks on the long kick from Ryan. What a seesawing opening term. After Freo kicked the first 2, the Hawks kicked 5 of the next 7. 5 lead changes in that opening stanza. The Hawks leading by 3 points at the first break.
It's been an absorbing battle on Grandstand AFL. The goal kickers for the Hawks, in fact, the goal kickers for everyone, all individuals for the Hawks, O'Meara, Moore, Howe, Wingard and Kajitsky, while for Fremantle, Young, Collier, Lobb and Banfield. Quarter time in the West. The Hawks 5 straight 30. The Dockers 4-3-27. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
If you love sport, we've got the podcast for you. ABC Sport Daily, your daily sports conversation.
Certainly no one gets in bed with the Saudis unless there's a lot of money involved.
He was partying for a week and then he went and produced man of the match performances in Origin as well.
Is she a fan of the Bon Scott AC/DC or more the Brian Johnson era?
It wouldn't be Australian football if it wasn't a tumultuous rollercoaster ride, so strap yourselves in.
Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Lob long inside 50 towards Logue. Hardigan does well, though he drops it. Umpire doesn't pay the mark. Logue onto it. Handball to Collier. Collier sticks the boot out, gets a toe on it, and pokes it through.
Went to ground, tackled by O'Meara as soon as he did. Umpire works. He might be in strike. Here he is.
He did drag it in.
Yep, and then couldn't get rid of it. He'll be kicking from right on 50. Starts out to the right. It swings back. It swings back. It's through. Hawthorn have kicked the past 3 and they take the lead.
Sarong goes inside 50 towards Logue. Banfield Roach has men everywhere. Goes himself, snaps on goal and sneaks it through. Fremantle respond immediately.
Ryan tried to work it away. Young can't break the tackle. He's run down. That'll be holding the ball. Hayden Young decided to take it on and got absolutely wrapped up by Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore, not a bad-looking kick. They've been on fire in front of goals, the Hawks. They're back in front. They've kicked 4 straights. Brayshaw now to Brodie, back to Clark. Nice hands again from Fremantle. He kicks towards left half forward, chance of a big collision. He's Switkowski, though, was clever. Tapped it down, got it to Walters, back to Switkowski, works inside forward 50. This is fine. Sweeps the hand pass. Schultz is in the goal square. He puts the Dockers back in front. What a seesawing game of footy we've got here in the West.
Moore snaps it inside 50 for the Hawks. Going to ground, a free kick to Kaczynski. Wingard takes the advantage, runs into the open goal, pokes it through. Hawks back in front. A 5th lead change in this opening term.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Mentioned before, the Western Bulldogs have released a statement from both Amit Bains, their CEO, and Bailey Smith in relation to content that emerged today on social media and then, of course, in the Victorian online newspapers. And from the CEO, Amit Bains, he says, "We're extremely disappointed to observe social media content showing Bailey Smith with an illicit substance. The content was captured after the 21 AFL season where players were on personal leave. We absolutely do not condone our players being involved with illicit substances and firmly believe players are well educated on what constitutes appropriate behaviour. As a football club with influence, we have a responsibility to uphold the highest of standards. Bailey's a young man who has faced many challenges and pressures off the field in recent times, and he's endured a particularly difficult time towards the end of last year that led to him having time away from football. This clearly does not excuse his behaviour. It's our responsibility as a club to ensure we have supported and continue to support Bailey's health and well-being. The club and the AFL Integrity Unit continue to investigate the emergence of content on social media and the context surrounding it, and an outcome of that will be communicated in due course. And to sum up the statement from Bailey Smith, I've been recently made aware of the presence of social media content that shows me with an illicit substance. In confronting this, the temptation is to speak in vague generalities and avoid the issue. However, I'm determined to learn the lessons of my past and be a better person in the future. And after much reflection, I'm now in a position to confess to indulging in behaviours in late 21 that I'm deeply ashamed. I do not have an excuse for those behaviours. My state of mental health over that period post-grand final dramatically deteriorated and I spiralled out of control, leading to poor decision-making. I know I have obligations beyond myself, and not just contractually, but in terms of the examples I've set through decisions I make, and I'll be better. I have made mistakes, I'm aware of that, and I fully own it. I unreservedly apologise to my family, teammates, club, sponsors, the AFL supporters, and my sponsors. I've made mistakes and I resolve to learn from each and to let all of them do what I can to avoid letting myself down and those around me. That sums up what is about a 2 and a bit page statement from the Western Bulldogs, from their CEO and from the player concerned in Bailey Smith, which only gives you guys about 30 seconds to sum up what's been a cracking game of football here on Grandstand AFL. Shane Woden, Bo McDonald.
Yeah, arm wrestle at the moment, isn't it? And really, and Hawthorn have been terrific. Slow start, but I thought really controlled and got the game back on their terms in their front half. I just reckon it's an even keel at the moment, and see how it's settled in the second.
Ben, you got any numbers as we wait for the bounce in front of us?
Relatively even, as you'd expect. So +5 contested possessions. Fremantle clearances, they're 11-8. Inside 50s. Hawthorn actually lead 18-13. Fremantle have had more of the ball, 116-81 disposals.
So for the restart, Reeves up against Darcy. Ball spills out in the direction of Mundy. Diving forward, got a hand pass away to Brayshaw, who is met high immediately by Mitchell. And he'll get the free kick. Just backward of the centre circles, commentary side of the ground. He'll flare it out towards Akers, right beneath our broadcast position here on the northern wing. He'll trot back to assess what's in front of him. Walters offered something short, that's ignored. He'll go further afield, kicking towards right half forward. Flying up was Day, got a fist to it, spilled down though to Brodie. Sends it inside, forward 50, ace from the side, spoiled by Morrison. Spilled there for Schultz though, hand pass over the top. Switkowski, hand pass on to Walker. Walker in front of goal, Walker converts. They've kicked the opening goals in both the first and second quarters within about 45 seconds, Fremantle. And they're back in front. They lead by 3. 5-3-33 to the Hawks, 5 straight 30. That's a 6th lead change of the day.
So that's his first in AFL footy, is that right?
Well, that shows you how high the defenders are pushing up to help out, because he's that's fantastic. He done a terrific job on Charlie Cameron last week. He's not an easy player to play on, and he's just getting better and better each week for the Dockers. But to be in the back six and get forward in the first 20 seconds and kick a goal, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, modern game, isn't it, with how they press the field. And Aishi come across and collapsed a little bit on the contest and brought him forward, held his width really well.
Spot on, he's first in AFL football. So much going on, I completely overlooked it.
It happened away from the game too, obviously.
Yes.
Bounce back in the middle. Darcy slaps it down. Newcombe onto the footy for the Hawks. Tumbles it towards half forward. Bouncing ball. Goes over the top of a few of them. Now Kazitsky overruns it. Wingard toe pokes it. Kazitsky comes back, picks it up to Mitchell, to Howe, to Frost. 20 out. He misses. Oh, he was barely 20 out, almost directly in front. And he misses to the left-hand side.
Had to kick that. They did everything right, didn't they? Clean.
2 points Fremantle's advantage early in the second.
I'd put that in the book as a goal as he was running in. Just had to search for the liquid paper in my bag. Incredible. Can't believe he's missed that. It's the Dockers through Cox beyond defensive 50. Goes short to Brayshaw.
15th disposal already, Brayshaw.
And he's a gun. Should be in the All-Australian team, I'd reckon, as he kicks towards centre wing. Turns it over. There's a commentary curse at full effect as Sicily marks. Trots infield. Sends it back from whence it came. Flying up to the side. That's a fine mark to Moore. We know that he can kick them from here. Putting boots a ball from just inside 50. He's just slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left.
There's a coach killer for you.
Oh,
Small.
Small with the big vertical leap.
Winning an aerial contest.
Just floating across. Kicks on its way. We're right behind it. It sails through. And Hawthorn is back in front. It'd make you dizzy.
Uncontested too, though, Bo, as well.
Yeah, it was. I think the defender there needs to come through, take some body, take some ball. Just
It's
a hard one there. I reckon when you're coming from behind there, you've got to kill that ball. When you're coming from 2 or 3 deep.
Well, it's Luke Ryan. He actually peeled off him. So he come laterally more. Luke Ryan decided to come from behind the contest and don't take any body and didn't impact and let his bloke win it.
6-1-37 Hawthorn, 5-3-33 the Dockers. 4 minutes gone in the second term and a 7th lead change of the game.
Goal for goal with the last 6. Bounce back in the middle. Perfect bounce. Reeves jumps early, then hooks it down towards Mitchell, trying to follow up Darcy. The Hawks come away with it. Wingard will stab a kick out towards Howe on the wing. Momentum wearing brown and gold at the moment. Howe drives it long inside 50, looking for a mark down there. Kaczynski can't complete it. Moore comes through again. He's driven down in a young tackle. Getting involved Mundy. And the umpire too will get a ball up.
Also becoming the first multiple goal kicker of the game, Dylan Moore.
Ball up. 30 metres out from the attacking goal for the Hawks. Offhands it spills to Walker, who will kick towards the wing. He was dealt with after he kicked it too, so it'll be downfield. So Logue will get the free kick just backward of the interchange gates. Northern side of the ground, the Hawks leading by 4 points, 5 into the second.
Ball eventually returned in the locker room area downstairs. Not a bad place to watch the footy.
It's not 8 metres.
No, it wasn't. Logue's kick in pass was very short. Found Clark. Officials let it go. Goes back to Ryan. All on his own inside his defensive 50. Has the ability to run towards centre half back and go up the corridor with a pass to Young. Young will switch play. Kick had to be precise to Clark. It was. He's got the strapping round the snoz. Clark. Off a step. Finds Akers marking just shy of centre wing. Commentary side of Perth Stadium. 6 minutes gone in the second term. Fremantle just happy to work it around at the moment. Their defence goes back to Cox, centre half back, who go up the corridor once more to Pearce. Pearce pauses. Cox provides an option short. Pearce goes that way. Shy of the logo. Cox marks, plays on to Young. Stabs it in the direction of left half forward. Walters slides out and takes the mark. He's got it about 80 from goal in the sunshine on the southern side of the ground.
In no hurry, Walters eventually sets it up into the pocket. Giath comes across from the side and takes the mark for the Hawks. In the right back pocket. Just floating through the air in front of the pack to intercept it. He kicks back towards the wing. Looking for a marker down there. Kaczynski crashes the pack. Doesn't drag it in. Young on his backside. Shovels out a handball to Cox. Almost run down by Moore. Cox goes with a little handball. It ricochets off the boots of Butler. And out of play for a throw-in. Neutral territory on the southern wing. Hawthorn 6-1-37 leading the Dockers 5-3-33. 7 minutes into the second term. At 5 disposals. All handballs. No kicks as yet.
Throwing in, Darcy punched it down, came up to Sarong, tackled immediately, spilled up, Mitchell couldn't gather. Young, strong tackle to push in the back, too strong. Free kick going the way of Moore here. Bounces up for the Hawks and then kicks towards right half forward. Finds O'Meara, looks to play on, almost run down, just got the kick away to Butler. He marks it centre half forward. If he wants to have a shot at goal, he'll be kicking from about 55. He looks for an option inside forward 50. Nothing really there, so he looks to put it towards the teeth of goal. It was marked by Akers, but a free kick is going here to Shields.
Yeah. Walker held him off the contest, stopped his run going for it.
So Shields is going to have a shot from point-blank range. The vision that we saw on the big screen doesn't explain the story to the Freo fans, hence their frustration, but the Hawks will be delighted. Their fans are sitting at the Farmer Freeway end as Shields trots in and kicks it. Back-to-back goals. What a rarity in this game. Liam Shields with his first. 7-1-43 the Hawks. They're 10 points now to the good of the Dockers, who are 5-3-33. 8 minutes gone in the second term on Grandstand AFL, ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. Our experts, Shane Woden and Beau McDonald.
Not a lot in it, but once he took his eyes off the ball, and Shields did make it known, didn't he, to the umpires with his hands out, but just stopped him competing for the contest.
This is a Fremantle defence that, on average, has been conceding just a smidge over 60 points per game.
JL be filthy, I think, now defensively.
8 minutes into the second, Hawthorn have already run up 43 points. Back in the middle, Reeves wins the tap. Straight down to Nash. Kicks the Hawks back inside, attacking 50. Going back, strong mark, Cox.
His third, it's good.
Cox will chip it short to Brayshaw. Fremantle need to work their way back into this. They trail by 10. As I mentioned, they've trailed at halftime past 4 games. Trail by 10 here. Now to play a throw-in on the wing. Haven't started in terms of first halves all that well for the last month. They have turned it around in the second half. They might have to do the same here. Darcy straight down to Fife, a little fumble. Darcy tries to soccer it forward. Brayshaw gets involved. Applying the tackle, so wrong. Nothing doing. Bruce at the bottom of the pack will get up. And another ball up just forward of the wing for the Hawks. They lead by 10.
Darcy palmed it down beautifully, straight down the throat of Aish. Kicks towards right half forward. Logue stretching against Sicily. Can't mark. Scrimshaw takes the ball over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in right half forward for Freo. Hawks by 10. Still most of the ground in sunshine. The rain that we were expecting, and certainly arrived before the start, has stayed away. Cool conditions, about 19 degrees as Reeves wins it down. O'Meara out after it, can't control it. Was happy enough, though, to see it over the line for another throw-in. Well, it was just seconds before. Hawthorn wearing the white shorts. They're in their heritage jumper. The brown thick V, gold jumper. From the restart, Aish was there, kicked straight into traffic. O'Meara, hand pass intercepted. Switkowski got it to Fife, got it to Sarong. Hand pass back to no one in particular. In fact, he had a second go at it. Knocked away by Newcomb. Callow tries to pick it up, couldn't. Brendan Cox bursting through, scooped it up, and then was seen over the boundary line by Shields and Callow for another throw-in. A little bit further away from Freo's attacking goal. They're kicking to the right of our broadcast position, the city end of Perth Stadium in this, the second term.
Darcy wins the tap down. Mundy can't quite gather it. O'Meara comes through. Eventually Fife wants it more, wins it. Handball to Sarong. Handball to Mundy. Mundy kicks Freo inside 50. Strong mark. Scrimshaw for the Hawks. He'll kick dangerously towards the back pocket. Sets a task for Morrison. Coming across Akers. Close to the boundary line. It's out of play. A throw in. And some good defensive work from the Dockers.
Lazy kick by Scrimshaw. Had to hit that one.
Forward 50 stoppage for Freo. The Hawks by 10. 7-1-43 plays 5-3-33.
Back into play. Darcy won it down, got it himself, gave it to Switkowski, shovels the hand pass back to Lobb. 50 out from goal. Kicks towards left full forward. Sicily read it well. He took the mark and then plays on, diving out Walters. Got away from him, did Sicily, and then kicks towards the southern side of the ground. Spills down for the Hawks. Bruce works it to Kashitsky. Kicks towards right half forward. He wants Callow. Cox is right with him. Cox won it to ground and then won the football. Great play by the Freo defender. Gave it to Ryan. Clever pass inboard. It comes towards Mundy, who almost turns it over again. In fact, he has. Shields wins it down to Hardwick. to Nash, to Shields once more, kicks towards centre half forward. Pearce is able to knock the ball to ground. Schultz was there again to mop up. He gave it to Clark, who kicks towards the commentary wing. The ball's bouncing, taken by Scrimshaw, and then tackled over the boundary line by Logue. Dockers wanted holding the ball. Officials say no, we'll throw it in instead. Right on centre wing. The Hawks lead is 10 points, 13 gone in the second.
Umpire brings it back in. Robin Frost down in front. Sarong gets it. Handball to Fife. Handball to Brody. Handball to Mundy. A few fumbles. Eventually gets a handball away to Clark. Handball to Sarong. Now kicks Frere towards full forward. Walters in good position. Almost takes a hang. Comes to Schultz. Dribbles it on goal. Kicks his second. Fremantle close again. It's back to 4 points. Hawthorn 7-1-43. Fremantle 6-3-39. Almost 14 minutes into the second term.
Just that shape from stoppage, their use of hands to be able to get out of there and release a kicker to get a deep entry inside 50 was terrific. Just only 1 metre handballs, but just possession and chain their way out. Didn't just dump it on the boot.
Now, good news, Fremantle fans. 16 times. This is now the 17th time in Lachie Schultz's career that he's kicked multiple goals. The previous 16, they've won all of them.
Don't curse.
The stat is going to be tested this afternoon.
Loves a random stat, Ben Cameron, and that is a beauty. Hawks go forward from the centre clearance. Trying to get to it was Bruce. Was able to tap it back to O'Meara. But a hand pass away under extreme pressure. Cox was there for the Dockers. Mitchell tackles him to ground. More Hawks go to lend some support. It's going to be held up across half forward. Throwing aloft. Frost won it down, but straight towards Lobb. Got it on towards Schultz. Goes back across centre half back to Clark. Now to Akers. Akers will kick down the commentary wing. It gets past Sicily. Logue had it. Hand passed. Wanted Walters. Howe got it first. Did he keep it in? Just. Dockers fans want to deliberate. It came to Sicily. He'll pop it up into the air across half back to O'Meara, who continues to do a mountain of work. Sends it back to Scrimshaw inside his defensive 50 for the Hawks. He's able to hit more on the chest on the southern wing. Hand pass bouncing in front of Nash. Run down by Lobb, but not before he got a kick away to Bruce. Running by Shields. He runs to 47 out. He'll kick towards goal. He'll miss. Didn't have too many other options forward that he could see. It's a minor score to the left. 7-2-44 the Hawks. 6-3-39 the Dockers. Hawthorn by 5. 16 gone in the second.
So Cox with the kick in. Goes as long as he can. Drives it towards the wing. Strong mark. Hartigan brings it down. Hartigan will look back inside 50 for the Hawks. Mundy's there. Can't take the mark. Down at ground level coming through. Wingard gathers. Snaps towards goal. He'll miss the lot. It'll tumble out. And a throw in inside attacking 50 here for the Hawks.
Just unsure there, Mundy, wasn't he? Whether they'll go for it or not. Collapses a fat side winger to come in.
He's had a fumbly day. Had a few turnovers decisions by foot.
A different role at times too.
So Lobb and Frost. Frost decisively with the tap down in front. O'Meara trying to gather. Close to the boundary line. Wingard goes in. Eventually it's out and we'll get a throw in. Same spot as the one previous. Hawks by 5. Fremantle with the last goal through Schultz. 2 goals apiece in this second term.
On Fife Watch, fascinatingly, 8 disposals. All of them hand passes. The only Docker yet to have a kick today. Thrown back in. Here is Mundy. Umpires spotted a free kick out of this. It's going back to the Dockers. It's going to be taken by Brody. Dangerous tackle. And that's Nash just a moment ago.
Only his 6th possession too, Will Brody. So
Brody goes to Hughes. He'll kick down the southern wing. Logue flew, couldn't mark. It's off hands and down to Mitchell for the Hawks.
Eventually, Scrimshaw kicks into the middle of the ground. O'Meara marks. He's a little unsure of where to go. He'll go lateral and to Howe. So Howe in the middle of the ground. Wants to bring it back to O'Meara towards the logo, who marks on the run. Looks up and sees Moore leading at him. Spots him up. Moore wheels around. He'll look deep inside 50. Low ball towards Kazitsky. Out bodies Pearson, marks 25 out, 45-degree angle left-hand side.
Quite a few headaches from defensively, aren't they, Hawthorn?
They are.
Shifted it on that one.
It's a sea of purple down there, isn't it, inside that 50? And just by lowering that kick a little bit, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, but also they changed the angles.
Yep.
They shifted lanes. Shifted the defence of the Fremantle Dockers, and to create this opportunity inside 50 for them.
So Kazitsky kicked a goal in the first term. Comes in, famous number 23 on his back, and shanks it right.
No momentum in that one, was there?
No, they've squandered a couple of inside 50 chances in the last few minutes.
Should have buried that one.
It's a bad miss. So Young to take the kick in for the Dockers. A wheel to the pocket and kick long towards the broadcast wing. Pearce there. Out to Giath. No mark taken. Out the side it comes and over the boundary line for a throw-in. Tom Mitchell carries it out. Loses a bit of strapping along the way too. Hawks leading by one straight kick. Umpire brings it back in. Reeves and Lobb. No decisive tap. Sarong trying to gather it. Eventually picking it up. Newcombe, where he doesn't really, tries to shovel it out. Mitchell goes after it. Slaps it back towards Nash. It comes back to Mitchell. Handball away towards Butler. He's tackled by Brodie really strongly. And another ball up between wing and left half forward. Umpire flicks it up. Eventually slapping it down is Reeves, but the Dockers come away with it. Through the middle of the ground goes Walker. Kicks towards half forward, looking for Banfield. Banfield's able to mark. Has Collier running by, ignores that. Now we'll look inside attacking 50 for the Dockers. Eventually on his leg, he kicks towards the pocket. In the Switkowski direction, a lot of it. Doesn't drag down the mark. Fife, handball to Schultz. Handball to Sarong. Handball back to Brodie. Brodie snaps from 30. Brodie bends it back, but not enough. Behind. Fremantle bring it back to 5 points. 20 minutes into the second term, the Hawks by 5 points. Short kick in to Giath in the pocket. And then on in turn to Sicily.
Just build it up here a little bit.
Oh, Sicily stabs it short onto the chest of Nash, who has a fumble.
Good let off there for Fremantle.
Puts a hand up in apology.
Yeah, Griff Logue a couple of times today has just run under the ball a few times. Hasn't judged it in the air. Probably led too far then with Bailey Banfield also on his inside 50 lead.
Throw in at half forward for the Dockers. Lob down for Mundy. Mundy gets a handball away to Young, but the Hawks are there quickly. Young fights hard after it. Eventually Lob comes in and picks it up. Kazitsky arrives. Butler for the Hawks. Handball away to Mitchell, to Howe, who just kicks a spiral down the wing towards Callow. He can't take the mark. Cox is at ground level for the Dockers. Slaps it away to Hughes, who's a little unsure, and will turn and wheel and kick back towards the wing. Mark taken by Ryan.
Good decision. Hawthorn defended the other side of the ground really well.
Hawthorn leading by 5 points. 21 and a half minutes into the second term. Ryan goes short and spots up the chest of Andy Brayshaw. Andy Brayshaw coming up for possession number 17.
Yeah, look, forced to go long.
That's what he does in the lob direction. Lob goes up. Giath does well enough to halve the contest down at ground level. Akers jams it on the boot, tumbles it towards half forward. Hardigan drops the mark. It'll allow in Logue. Applies the tackle. Loses it in the tackle. Hardigan called for holding the ball.
Yeah, gave up prior opportunity by freeing his hands. Wasn't strong enough in the contest.
So Logue will have the kick. Hard up against the boundary on his right-hand side. The mark set about 3 metres in from the boundary line, 47 metres out.
Is that a ping here, Bo, or has he put it to the top of the goal square?
I'll be putting it to the top of the goal square, where they can't spoil it through.
Yeah.
I saw Dan Howe kick one from a similar position.
A bit tighter, this one.
Slightly tighter. Right side for a left footer in Logue, though. The kick is a little narrow. and just missing to the right-hand side of behind. Back to 4 points the margin. 7:3:45 play, 6:5:41, 22 minutes into the second.
Bramble to Hardwick, long beyond defensive 50. Oh, Morrison, that's a good mark. Leaping up into the air, dragging it down, playing on quickly. Kicks in the direction of Frost. Takes the ball inside forward 50 in the right forward pocket, then dropped it against Pearce. An incorrect disposal called.
Just had no awareness that he was there with his teammate, just needed to knock it backwards, and off they went. No voice.
Alex Pearce provided the pressure. He gets the free kick and he'll chip short and he'll find Mundy. Still the rain, thankfully, has stayed away.
They're not making the ground as big here, Fremantle, looking to keep it skinny.
Sunshine on the southern side. Mundy kicks to the southern wing. Reeves at the back. Won it down, spilled out to Mitchell. Goes back by hand to Reeves for the Hawks. Kicks them inside the attacking 50. Spoil came from Pearce against Callow. Frost trying to provide a shepherd for Bruce to gather, who does pick it up, spins away from Young, snaps on goal and kicks the Hawks 8. Luke Bruce, terrific finish. Hawthorn are 8-3-51. They're back to that 10-point margin. Fremantle 6-5-41, 24 and a bit gone here in the second term.
The arm wrestle continues, Wowie. You made the point before, Hawthorn are defending the opposite side of the ground really well, so it's made Fremantle go up and down the line, gave him some repeat entries and ended up getting a shot on.
Yeah, great contest. Lost a few contests in D50 today, Fremantle. I'm sure Jay on the backs coach will be really impressed. He doesn't miss too many on the left, does he? Bruce, very clever, keeps his feet, balanced. Head champion for this footy club.
251 today, goal 462 and the 21st of the season for him.
Bounce back in the middle. Reeves slaps it down, but onto it Brody. Handball away to Brayshaw. Brayshaw snaps inside attacking 50. Will Day underneath it, drops the mark. Schultz onto it, he fumbles it. Logue comes through, picking it up. Scrimshaw for the Hawks. Handball to Newcomb. Handball away to O'Meara. He thumps the Hawks towards half forward. Over the head of the target, tracking it back, Ryan for the Dockers. Gets there first, gathers cleanly, slips as he evades Kaczynski, bounces back up. He'll kick into the middle of the ground. Giath in best position. Oh, he's whacked, or a little bit of front-on contact. Big Sean Darcy moves it on quickly, Giath. Mark taken by Wingard. Centre half forward for the Hawks. He'll set it up towards the pocket. Callow in good position. Callow clamps it. He marks in the right forward pocket.
Jordan Clark just didn't anticipate turnover quick enough and just allowed Wingard to hit up top of the 50 all by himself. And then a great kick by Wingard to his advantage. He was there for a while, Callow.
Just invited him into it, didn't he, Wowie?
Yeah.
Jackson Callow is yet to kick an AFL goal. Tight angle. Boot to ball 20 out. Right forward pocket.
Another one.
He still hasn't kicked an AFL goal. He's missed it left. Hawthorn leaving the door ajar for the purple. 8-4-52 play, 6-5-41, 26 minutes into the second.
So Luke Ryan comes out towards right half back. Akers did well, got in front of Howe, made sure Brennan Cox could take the mark uncontested for Fremantle. And come towards the commentary wing. It's Logue on the chest despite the pressure from Scrimshaw. Logue kicks inboard, not a great one. Young's made to work with it. Howe knocks him over, then gathers the footy. Hand pass Shields. Sweeps the hand pass forward. He wanted Wingard to run onto it. Met by Cox first time though. Tapped down by Hughes. Mundy put his head over the football. Knocked it back to Hughes. Hand pass was there though for Mitchell to take it. Knocked it inside forward 50. Still the battle continues. Akers working it towards the boundary line. On the deck, Frost worked it back towards Howe. Knocked inside the attacking 50. Wingard was taken high.
Made it very obvious, didn't he?
He did. It was there, but yes.
Covered the lanes really well there, Fremantle. Top of the goal square.
He'll pop it up to the hot spot. Fremantle had the numbers. They bring it to ground. Walker had it, got a hand pass away to Brayshaw, finds the hand pass back to Hughes. Sold a bit of candy and then kicks beyond defensive 50 to right half back. Travels the pack, which allows Walters to run onto it for Fremantle. Sweeps it forward to Switkowski. They're bursting away, the Dockers. The kick isn't great inside forward 50. It's allowed to bounce by 5. He gathers, tries to dribble it towards goal. Instead, he misses to the right-hand side. Five's first kick of the game is a behind. 8-4-52 the Hawks, 6-6-42 the Dockers, 28 gone in the second.
They move it quickly to the wing, the Hawks. Callow leads up, takes it out in front, now drives it around the boundary. Ryan going back, virtually unopposed, takes the intercept mark. Kicks back inside D50 for the Dockers. To the bandaged Geordie Clark, right around the snoz. That can't be comfortable. Kicks laterally to Brennan Cox, who goes back to Hughes. He gives the handball away to Geordie Clark. He'll kick to right half back. And Brandon Walker, right on the paint of defensive 50.
Good by Hawthorn, delayed him really well.
Walker will just have to kick to a contest on the wing. Akers goes up, hands to it. Newcomb off hands, wins it back for the Hawks. Gives it off to Moore, to Sicily. Kick to half forward. Kazitsky marks on the halftime siren. Right on the attacking edge of the square. And Kazitsky will go with the torp. Oh, we love this, don't
How far?
We love this.
You're kicking from 60.
You'll have to kick it all of 65.
And every bit of it. Imagine this.
The Dockers players are getting back. Kazitsky with the barrel. He's got onto it okay. It won't have enough. And the Dockers players ensure no score. So no Malcolm Blight moment at Perth Stadium at half-time. The Hawks lead by 10 points, and for a 5th consecutive week, Fremantle trail at the main break.
Quite remarkable. But what a game. Hawthorn, their goal kickers, 2 to Dylan Moore, singles to O'Meara, to Howe, to Wingard, to Bruce, to Kashitsky and to Shields, while for the Dockers, Lockie Schultz has 2, singles to Walker, Collier, Lobb and Banfield. 8-4-52 the Hawks, 6-6-42 the Fremantle Dockers. Let's get the thoughts of our experts in what's been a hugely entertaining game if you're a neutral. A nervous game, I reckon, if you're a Dockers supporter. The Hawks fans, and I mentioned before, they've got a big supporter base in the West. They're enjoying what they're seeing at the moment, mind you. Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's certainly been the arm wrestle we thought it was going to be at the start of the game. Look, the Hawks are up by 10 points. It's certainly been a game of momentum swings, and I think what I've liked about Hawthorn today is their pressure on the ball carrier. They haven't allowed Fremantle to just use the ball as well as they have liked to. But it's going to be a consistent effort, and I think the message from JL, and he said it all along, you can see that Fremantle aren't playing too bad. They probably need to capitalise on a few more chances. Maybe the defenders probably need to defend a little bit better one-on-one and win those contests. But I don't think you're trying to change too much when you're going in there at half-time. I think, like Justin says, their game stacks up and they just need to do it for longer. I think Hawthorn do have the ascendancy at the moment. I think they've done really well in the centre bounce in that second quarter. Not sure what the stats say. My eyes are telling me that they've done well in that centre bounce. And yeah, look, what do you think will be the word in the Dockers rooms while we're at half-time?
I don't think Jay will be happy defensively.
Yeah.
Really, I think
all round, you mean?
Yeah, team defence, their ability for Hawthorn to move the ball with a bit of ease.
Yep.
But also once they get inside forward 50, their contests behind the ball, so their D50 contest, Fremantle, been pretty ordinary,
yep.
I reckon. So whether they lose ground ball or lose an aerial mark, just not defending that area of the ground as well as I think they have in the past. Yep. So, yeah, they missed some opportunities going forward. 6-6 relatively, but I just think like 8-4 for Hawthorn at half-time. There's 52 points.
Yep.
They're on track for 104. And as Benny Cameron alluded to in that quarter, what's their average? I think 60 against. And they're already at that mark pretty much. So I think defensively, Jay will be saying a few things in there, whether that's individual defence or team defence, but just allowing Hawthorn to move the ball with ease. really, from their back half in particular. And but Hawthorn, on the flip side, defensively too, have delayed Fremantle, haven't allowed those opportunities to come through, and intercept the ball really well and gone back at them. So right up for grabs. It is an arm wrestle, no doubt. And I think it'll continue.
Word on the street, Fife's coming in and it may upset the midfield balance. How have you seen that? How have you seen that play out in the first half?
Yeah, a little bit, because what it actually does, it spits an inside mid, which and they all are. So Brodie, Brayshaw, Sarong, Mundy, they are all inside mids. They don't play on the outside, and playing wing is a different role and it takes time to train. There's patterns involved with it.
A lot of sacrificial running.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but I've seen real selflessness from them though. They're flicking inside and out, but for Mundy to play on a wing at 36 years of age, Billy, get up and down the ground, he's not an Akers role. It's not him, and he's at times around stoppage, no problem. So a little bit of upset the apple cart a little bit from a positional point of view, and like Brodie hasn't had the impact on the game he has in the past. So he's
the
only
one that's finding himself outside a bit more.
You start on the bench.
Yeah,
Mundy starts on the bench. You don't get into the game for 8 minutes. Then you come on. You play a bit of wing. You're not getting the footy hands on it. Brayshaw has the ability just to go and hunt and find it with Sarong, but the Mundys and the Brodies, they just starts to fall out a little bit and have less impact on the game. And we've already seen Mundy, a little bit fumbly decision making. Inside, it doesn't have a huge effect, but it does it to your own psyche as a player a little bit too. So they're in the game, and it might be the conditions too, but I think it's had a little bit of an impact, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't turned out to be the wet puddle struggle that we thought it may be driving in here to Perth Stadium today. It's actually...
It's not about you. It was bucketed down when we were driving in, Bo.
Maybe we might see a bit more... ball movement to the opposite side of the ground in this other half. Maybe that's how Fremantle can get them. Yeah. Get out to that other side of the ground. Sometimes you think when it's wet, the ball stays up and down that track, but the good sides, they still have good skills in the wet and they still use the ground.
I think Reeves has nullified Darcy really, really well.
Yep.
Darcy hasn't had the influence, the impact. He should come in here and monster Reeves, bigger frame, push him aside. They haven't dominated clearance, and they're +7, but they're not... influential.
I see it as a real weak point for the Hawks today. Look, Darcy, whether you get the ball or not, he needs to make Reeves spend petrol tickets chasing him because he's not going to have enough to go back the other way. He's got no support, and then guess what? Lob comes on fresh, jumping like a kangaroo, and can kill him. And it's really a team role, so they need to work him over. And that might not mean you're getting the ball, but you're making him spend petrol tickets chasing you.
I agree with you.
Hopping up in the 50. Trying to spread out wide, whatever it is.
He's not an aerobic beast, Reeves.
Let's try and cook him. He looks cooked already. If you're loving the half-time break, he's done a fantastic job. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the second quarter.
He's not going to have a huge influence around the ground, Big Ned Reeves, too. So, they're just grinding away, Hawthorn. They'd be happy with this right now.
Yep.
It's an arm wrestle. They haven't allowed Fremantle or the crowd to get on top.
Yep.
They've come here to do a job, and they've been good around the contest, and I just think their forwards look really good. I actually thought that would be a real negative for them today without those 2 goal kickers.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's actually providing
a bit more pace on the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit something around the ground. Well, Callow hasn't had a huge influence. Frost, a huge influence up there as their talls. Kizitsky taking a couple of marks. Dylan Moore's come into the game a little bit, and their mids have chimed in a little bit too when they've come forward. So they do look dangerous when they do go forward. They're uncontested marks. A couple of times with Wingard hitting up around that launch area of 50 to 60. It's been okay. I think they're pretty happy, Sam Mitchell.
Freo's third quarters, where they've got their last 2 wins. Huge third quarter against Melbourne, when they came back from a long way behind, and then an amazing third quarter against Brisbane as well. So the next quarter, there's so much to look forward to. How do the Hawks combat that? How do Fremantle bounce back from this? Fair point in regards to no Lewis, no Gunston. They, between them, kicked 29% of Hawthorn's goals this season. They contributed 42 of their 146 goals. Lewis, the number 1 for the Hawks, 27 goals this season. Gunston with 15, number 5 for the Hawks. And they're both missing today. They find themselves in front on the scoreboard by 10 points, 8-4-52 to Fremantle's 6-6-42. Now, at quarter time, I read out the comments or the media release and the statement from the Western Bulldogs, their CEO, Aneet Ains, and also from Bailey Smith. And the AFL has had this statement just come out as well, so I'll read it to you as well. The AFL was today contacted by the Western Bulldogs Football Club and Bailey Smith's management team in relation to content circulating on social media. The AFL acknowledges Smith's statement this afternoon. AFL players are well educated when it comes to the harms associated with the use of illicit substances. They have a responsibility to themselves, their clubs and their professional careers to uphold community expectations. The AFL will interview Smith in the coming days in relation to the emergence of content on social media and the context surrounding it. An outcome of that investigation will be communicated in due course. Smith is currently on suspension from playing in relation to an on-field incident in round 12. So that's the response from the AFL after the Bulldogs today earlier put out a statement just responding to, I wouldn't say at the moment newspaper reports, but certainly online reports with Bailey Smith photographed with white powder. The investigation will continue from the AFL and from the Western Bulldogs. And just repeating basically Bailey Smith saying in his statement he's deeply ashamed and has issued a public apology after a video of him sniffing an unknown substance and further pictures holding an unknown substance surfaced on social media. Big second half to come here. The Hawks, who have so often, as I mentioned at the start of our broadcast, been the bogey side for Fremantle. Will that continue, or will the Dockers show why they've beaten the number 1 and 2 seeds in the competition, Melbourne and Brisbane, in consecutive weeks? Repeating half-time, the Hawks by 10 points. Let's pause and take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the government's reached an $830 million compensation deal with the French shipbuilder Naval Group over the Morrison government's cancelled submarine contract. Mr Albanese says he hopes it will rebuild ties between Australia and France. Matthew Doran reports from Parliament House.
The $90 billion contract for Naval Group to build 12 submarines for the Royal Australian Navy was torn up last year when the Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced the new AUKUS partnership. Central to that deal was access to US and UK nuclear submarine technology, scuttling the Naval contract. The decision infuriated the French, with President Emmanuel Macron going so far as to accuse Mr Morrison of lying to him about the deal. Anthony Albanese says he hopes the compensation package helps soothe tensions.
And I see a personal meeting between myself and President Macron in France as being absolutely vital.
Mr Albanese says he plans to travel to Paris in the near future.
The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says he doesn't believe there'll be any more hurdles for a Tamil asylum seeker family hoping to get permanent visas to stay in Australia. The Nadasalingam family arrived in the regional Queensland town of Biloela yesterday, 4 years after they were removed by Australian Border Force. One of the first decisions of the new Labor government was to grant the family bridging visas to remain in Australia. Mr Albanese says considerations about permanent residency can now begin.
The only way that it could happen is for the way that it has the visa being issued, and then that application will go through. But I see no impediment to that occurring.
The US President Joe Biden has claimed a win on immigration reform, with 20 countries from the Americas coming together to pledge a new regional migration deal. The Los Angeles Declaration aims to spread responsibility for mass migration in the region and crack down on human trafficking. Currently, thousands of Latin Americans try to enter the US illegally each week. President Biden says the new plan will improve outcomes for people fleeing poverty and violence.
Working together to implement a more humane and coordinated border management system, making sure we're working together to respond to emergencies. It addresses the needs of vulnerable migrants and the needs of countries hosting those migrants. That's why it has the support of the United Nations High Commissioner on Refugees.
South Korea has promoted its key nuclear negotiator to the position of Foreign Minister. Cho Sun-wei was the North's key official in negotiations over its nuclear program with the United States. State media has announced the move as leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to return power for power against any threats. Another 5 people have died with COVID in Western Australia, 4 men and 1 woman in their 90s. WA Health was reporting 6,158 new infections. 272 people with COVID are in hospital. 11 people are in ICU. The Tourism and Transport Forum says staff shortages at Sydney Airport are in line with travel industry staff shortages across the globe. Around 60,000 travellers are expected through the airport today, with domestic travellers advised to arrive 2 hours early before their flight. Yesterday there were 80,000 travellers. Forum Executive Margie Osmond says staff numbers fell during the pandemic.
Sydney Airport has been attempting to recruit people since the end of last year, October, November, and they need something like thousands of people. I know they're going to be doing special open days and all sorts of things soon to be trying to encourage people back into working at the airport.
A 4th person has been charged over the shooting death of a Canberra man 12 months ago. Antoinette Radford has the details.
48-year-old Glenn Wallowitz died after he was allegedly shot at the front door of his home in Phillip in June last year. 3 people have already faced court over the shooting, with 1 charged with murder. All 3 have been remanded in custody. On Thursday, a 24-year-old man was arrested over the murder at Barradine in northern New South Wales. He was extradited to Canberra and faced the ACT Magistrates Court this morning by video link and was charged with murder and attempted burglary. He will return to court in July.
And Australian Federal Police have charged a 76-year-old Canadian man after more than $22 million worth of the drug ice was found in shoeboxes packed in baggage at Melbourne Airport. The man arrived on a flight from Los Angeles on Wednesday. You're up to date with ABC News.
ABC Sport now has its very own newsletter, and we'd be pumped to have you on board.
The ABC of Sport will provide a wrap of all the best stuff that's happening in sport every week.
Simply go to abc.net.au/connect
and get ready for a sport hit in your inbox every Friday.
Get on board with the ABC of Sport newsletter
for content that makes you think
or allows you not to.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Brody sends it inside, forward 50, ace from the side, scored by Morrison. Spilled there for Schultz though, hand pass over the top. Switkowski, hand pass on to Walker. Walker in front of goal. Walker converts. Sicily marks, trots infield, sends it back from whence it came. Flying up the side, that's a fine mark to Moore. We know that he can kick them from here. Just floating across. Kicks on its way. We're right behind it. It sails through. And Hawthorn is back in front.
Handball to Sarong. Now kicks Frere towards full forward. Walters in good position. Almost takes a hang. Comes to Schultz. Dribbles it on goal. Kicks his second.
Spoil came from Pearce against Callow. Frost trying to provide a shepherd for Bruce to gather, who does pick it up, spins away from Young, snaps on goal and kicks the Hawks 8. Luke Bruce, terrific finish.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Good to have you back with us here at Perth Stadium. Both teams out on the ground, warming up for the second half. Dockers have been outstanding in third terms, and they'll need to be, because the Hawks are proving a genuine challenge for them today. They lead by 10 points, the Hawks, 8-4-52. So Fremantle's 6-6-42. A lot of numbers in front of us. They paint a picture as well. Ben Cameron's got them all for you. Ben?
So the overall numbers, Fremantle with a lot more of the ball, 213 disposals to 159 contested possessions, Fremantle +6, inside 50s, Hawthorn +8 compared to Fremantle, 33-21 the clearances, Fremantle 21-14, marks inside 50, 5-3 the way of the Hawks. Individuals, Andy Brayshaw with 19, next best Caleb Sarong with 17, Tom Mitchell with 16, Jagger O'Meara with 15, Hawks leading by 10 at the main break.
It was a loud stadium, Perth Stadium. PA just blows you away at times. Coming up later today, Brisbane versus St Kilda. Tomorrow, Grandstand AFL Sunday with Corbin Middlemass and the team. And then what will be an intriguing affair, if for only one reason. What sort of crowd will turn up for North Melbourne versus GWS? And of course, really looking forward to, it's been just such a terrific day in recent years, the Queen's birthday game and all the fundraising that goes around it for MND and for Neil Danaher. Collingwood versus Melbourne. We'll bring all that to you wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital. And if you can't get to a radio, you can always stream us on the AFL. Find the AFL app or the AFL website. You'll be able to work your way through and join us on ABC Sport. Both teams heading to their respective positions. Nat Fyfe will be in the middle again as we get the bounce for the second half to get us started. Thoughts ahead of the second half? Shane Woden, Bo McDonald, what needs to change for Fremantle? What needs to stay the same for the Hawks? As it's actually just suddenly got very dark above us as the clouds cover the stadium here in the west.
Yeah, look, I think Fremantle, Justin Longmuir will be asking for the pressure, the defensive pressure around the ground, not only in the contest but also in that outer part of the contest. Really needs to lift for them to take hold of this game. For Hawthorn, geez, I reckon it's just more of the same, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely a little bit. You know, Amira's having an influence around the ball at the moment, getting it forward for him with what he's doing, you know, because he's good inside and good outside. But, yeah, a little bit more their team defence to improve, certainly in their second half.
Umpire holds the ball aloft. Second half about to get underway. Ben Cameron to get us started here on Grandstand AFL.
Darcy and Reeves, perfect bounce back in the middle. Darcy flicks it down, unable to come away with it. There is Newcomb. Nash eventually does. Snaps the Hawks to half forward. Bouncing ball coming out. Able to gather there is Kaczynski's handball back into the corridor. Akers loses it. Shields soccers it forward. Gains about 5 metres. Frost picks it up to O'Meara. To Shields. Handball away towards Butler, who's tackled by Sarong. Sarong drags him to deck, holding the ball. And Caleb Sarong trying to up the ante to start this second half.
Just couldn't quite break the tackle, could he? First year and Butler.
So 10 points. The Hawks lead the score as it was at the half. Sarong short to Brayshaw, who goes laterally to Akers. Can Fremantle do what they've done the last 2 weeks and come from behind at halftime to win? Trailed at halftime in their last 5 games now as Akers kicks around the wing, off hands, it's out of play. We'll get a throw in.
Not allowed Fremantle come back inside with that 45.
They have it. You keep
back.
looking up, and it's like witches' hats, isn't it? Straight up the middle of the ground, so they can't get out there.
Create good density in the corridor and stop it.
Spun back into play. Darcy was strong and then couldn't gather it. Bounced off his chest, rolled down to Sarong, tackled immediately by Reeves. They'll look to emerge with it here, the Hawks. Butler got a kick away, but only as far as Walker. Scooped it up. Hand pass to Darcy. His hand pass knocked to ground by Newcomb, who then hand passes back inboard. It bounces off the face of Akers and spins out for a boundary throw-in.
One you'd like in the beak.
Oh, bang, on a cold afternoon. Ball back into play again. Darcy takes front position against Reeves. Gets fingertips to it. Won it down to Sarong. Tracks backward, or hand pass it straight to Frost. Didn't know what he was doing then. Frost was able to work it on towards Butler. Under pressure, wobbles a kick inside forward 50. Kaczynski tries to gather. Right with him was Cox, who did enough just to pressure him over the boundary line with the football. There'll be a throw-in.
Butler had to release just a fraction earlier just to be able to get a deeper entry. Just hung on to it a fraction too long.
Spun in again. Darcy won it down straight to Akers. Threw it on the boot. A clearing kick beyond offensive 50 towards centre wing. Loga's up and marking for Freo.
Gives the handball to Walters. The purple on the wing. Kicks out in front of the speedy Collier, who runs onto it, or he can't quite run it in. It tumbles out. Throw in just beyond the attacking arc for the Dockers.
So we saw there, look, Reeves went and took the hit out in the forward 50 to try and it's just taken Darcy a long time to get back to this stoppage here. That's what he's got to do. He's got to run him around.
Umpire spins it back in. Darcy works his way to the front, slaps it down to Sarong. Handball towards Akers. Akers can't quite pick it up. Newcomb gets involved. Fife picks it up. He's gang tackled by 3. And another ball up. 52 out from the attacking goal for the Dockers. As we were at the half, the Hawks leading by 10.
Darcy, lovely tap, down to 5, threw it on the boot, kick inside, forward 50. No mark taken, pack of about 4 is up. Jaff gathered, got tackled by Schultz, no prior, ball up the call. It's about 30 out from Freo's attacking goal. Farmer Freeway end. The stadium to the left of where we're sitting. Both rucks have a go. Spilled down, clearing kick from a Hardwick, and then sliding through. Akers can't quite mark with the 50s painted on the ground against Jaff. He's done really well to knock it away. His hand pass bounces off Collier. Shields was underneath it. Kicks off a step towards the commentary wing, waiting Ryan. And he was able to protect the drop of the ball. Marks against Sicily. He'll move it short to Young, who marks in front of the Hawks interchange gates beneath our broadcast position on the northern wing. The Hawks by 10, 4 gone, third turn.
So Young kicks towards half forward, looking for a marker down there for Freo. At the back, Sicily roves, handball away towards Bruce, loses it in the tackle. Coming through, Sicily again, he's tackled down. And the umpire holds his arms to his chest.
Sam Frost just keep Luke Ryan engaged.
Arm wrestle to start the second half. Darcy down to Akers, run down by Bruce, gets a handball away, comes out to Young. Young sets it up towards full forward for the Dockers. Off hands, it comes to the back. Walters will waltz into an open goal, take the advantage. Freo get the first of the second half. They bring it back to 4 points. 7-6-48, plays 8-4-52. 5 minutes into the second half on Grandstand AFL.
A lot more influence around stoppage early parts of this third quarter. Fremantle. It's a free kick to Griff Logo over the shoulder.
Yep.
By Hardigan. So yeah,
every day of the week.
Yes. Didn't need to do it, did he?
Even the third up spoiler inability to kill it over the line as well. So just a couple of
soft drop,
couple of errors there.
Third quarter is the Hawks' worst quarter throughout season 2022. They've won just 4 of them. The Dockers have won 7. It's Freo fight their way back towards parity on the scoreboard. They trail by 4 points. Hawks win the tap. It's out towards Newcomb. He's able to burst away. Takes a bounce now. Newcomb. It's closed down by Schultz, but hand passes off to Jaff. He takes a bounce. Goes striding forward, shows a clean pair of heels, has run too far.
He certainly did.
He's gone all of 20 metres then. And then didn't return the football to compound the improbable move. It's going to be Akers now, brought towards centre half forward. Jaff did go racing away, took a bounce early and then decided not to take another as Akers kicks inside 451, slob, spills off hands. Scrimshaw is there at the drop. It comes through Mitchell's hands, works it out to O'Meara, kicks to left half back. Moore chases the ball to the boundary for Hawthorn. Hand pass Morrison, hand pass Day. He's at left half back, kicks towards the logo. Southern side, bounces past. Frost can't gather, Mundy can for Fremantle. To Brodie, to Clark, who can't beat the Butler tackle. Ball jars free, he'll win the free kick. Incorrect disposal, and it comes again for the Hawks to O'Meara, who marks just inside the centre square.
O'Meara wants to flare it to Howard half forward. He marks. He's brought down, well controlled by Akers, who just holds him up for the time being. So the mark set 49 metres out. Picked a goal from slightly closer, but a far worse angle. In the first quarter, Dan Howe.
He had Kazitsky on the lead there, right up the middle. Perfect little hit up.
Howe as if he's going to kick for goal. From 55, a good-looking kick. It'll go right to the line. It's touched on the line and eventually rushed through. Dropped in the goal square, and Brennan Cox had to carry it through a minor score. Hawks lead by 5 points, 7.5 into the third.
Ball into the left back pocket. Luke Ryan marks. Down around where Akash Fodadar is sitting, a couple of rows back. Boundary rider today as Ryan goes beyond defensive 50. Lob was up, couldn't mark. Spills down again to Howe. Gives it to Mitchell for the Hawks. Kicks them inside the attacking 50. Punch came from Brennan Cox. Sat there for O'Meara. He was up, got tackled, but got a hand pass out. And then Clark going through has got his opponent a little bit high out of this. And Moore will get up and play on by hand to Scrimshaw. 50 out from goal. Kicks towards full forward. Diving effort from Frost. Can't mark. Hughes mops up for Fremantle. Gives it to Cox. Then to Akers. He'll kick beyond defensive 50. He'll kick out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Hawks at right half forward. They still lead by 5 points on the scoreboard. 8-5 plays 7-6. That's Freo's score. 9 gone in the third.
Hardigan drives it long towards full forward through the hands of Cox out the back. Ryan's there to clean up for the Dockers. Gives it off to Akers. Has to snap across the body. Fortuitously it lands in the lap of Mundy. Touch though, play on. Sweeps a handball coolly. Away to Ryan. Handball to Schultz through his legs. A little bit of tunnel ball out of play. We'll get a throw in. Hawthorn by 5 points. 9 minutes into the third. Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shameway Woden, Beau McDonald. The Dockers with the only goal of this second half.
They lead the hitouts 27-16, Fremantle. Here's another one through Darcy, but not a telling one. It was down towards Mitchell. Couldn't gather it either. To Mundy. Shoveled it forward by hand. Brodie can't keep it in. Another throw in the decision.
It's good work by Hawthorn's backs coming forward to defend. Really putting the pressure on Fremantle.
Brayshaw and Sarong have had it 20 times apiece. O'Meara with 20 disposals for Hawthorn. As Darcy looked to win it down. Bounced away from him to Newcomb. Has it for the Hawks. Kicks inside forward 50. Hughes can't mark. At the back, Ryan was there to mop up. Slapped it in the direction of a teammate in Akers. Shares it with Walker. Akers up the middle of the ground. It comes to Brayshaw. He gets it back. Runs to the centre circles. Akers kicks inside the attacking 50. Logue was up. Couldn't mark. But running by. Walters receives the hand pass. Runs it through for his second. Coast to coast, the Dockers. And they hit the fronts. At the 10-minute mark of the third. Freo up by points. 8-6-54 to Hawthorn. 8-5-53 in what is an 8th lead change in this game and the first time that the Dockers have led in this half.
There's the handball change from Fremantle out of D50. Showed us a clean set of wheels, Blake Akers, didn't he?
Jeez, it was good, and it just kept angling back to the corridor every handball, didn't it?
Yeah, that forward handball, which really opens it up.
I think it started with Chad Wingard down in the Hawthorn 450, just slipped over, and then it's just gone from one end all the way to the other. We'll be happy with that, Michael Walters. Couple of goals in the third quarter.
The celebration you hear around is for Michael Walters' 300th goal. What a way to kick it as well.
Fremantle out of the middle. Sarong to Switkowski to Collier. Breaks the 50. Fires on goal and misses left. Fremantle double their advantage. They lead by 2 points. Hawks bring it back in quickly. Sicily in the back pocket, goes long to the wing. Akers gets a fist to it, out of play, a throw in on the wing.
Geez, that's a good result when you're under a bit of pressure to get a stoppage all the way up there on the wing.
Fremantle back in front. They've kicked the only 2 goals of this second half. Darcy brings it down. The Freo chant rises. Bruce feeds it back towards Howe, who kicks to half forward for the Hawks. No mark taken. Mundy gets back. Oh, that bounces the wrong way for him. Callow, handball to O'Meara. Off to Morrison. Morrison fires. Hawks back in front. Out by 4 points, 9-5-59 to 8-7-55. 12 minutes into the third on Grandstand AFL. Harry Morrison with his 4th goal of the season.
He slid well from this wing. He was on Mundy when Mundy went in to win that contest. Yeah, a little fumble. It was a fumble, poor bounce.
Yeah.
Probably a bit harsh on him. I think it was a poor bounce for Mundy. And
he's having one of those days. There's days like that, isn't it, where the ball just doesn't bounce your way, and that was emblematic of it.
It's a great finish, and his direct opponent kicks the goal.
Really, really good timing for that goal. I don't know about you guys, but you can feel the juice in the building. You could almost feel Fremantle, the supporters, just every time they've done that, Fremantle, Hawthorn have been able to just do exactly what they've done then, get a goal and shut it down. Really good effort.
Great response from the Hawks. They'll come back to do it all again. The first bounce a little bit skew-if. Darcy versus Reeves. It's thrown up. Darcy claims clean possession. Got it to Sarong. Hands it off to Brodie. Brodie will kick out towards left half forward. Schultz bounces up against Hardwick. Gathers. Slipped over. And then Hardwick right with him can tackle him over the boundary line. Throwing it left half forward for Freo. Ball goes back into play. Tap was down by Reeves, but it was straight to Sarong for Fremantle. To Akers, inside forward 50, stretching low, up against Sicily, can't mark. It's off hands. Ball in the call. Left full forward for the Dockers, who again find themselves in deficit on the scoreboard. They're down by 4 points, 14 gone in the third.
Umpire brings it back in. Darcy and Reeves. Darcy brings it down straight to Akers, can dump it on the boot and snap it through. The purple stick their nose in front. A 10th lead change. 9-7-61 to 9-5-59. Fremantle by 2.
He's having his best year in the purple, I reckon, Blake Akers. He's rolling on the wing. It's been very important. Big tank. Then they're starting to play their winger a lot tighter at stoppage now, where he's really connected with the mids. Has a bit more influence around the contest. Plus also add his outside game with his running ability. He's been really important today. Arguably one of their best players.
That's what you want to see from Sean Darcy against his opposition 11-game ruckman. Take that strong front position, be predictable, and you can get someone through that lane.
Yeah. He's already gained 551 metres today, Blake Akers, and now with a goal to his name as the Hawks through Reeves won it down. Shark though by Fife, got it on to Mundy. Kicks inside the attacking 50. No mark taken, spill down there to Logue. Hands it off to Switkowski. Steps around an opponent. Banfield's on his own in the goal square. He sends it into the second tier. Bailey Banfield with 2. And the Dockers, they're in front once more. Their lead is out to 8 points, 10-7-67. Hawthorn 9-5-59, 16 gone in the third.
Well done, Rory Lobb. He's getting thrown around down there. Just the ability to get his hand up and bring the ball to the front. Keeps his small forwards in the contest. Just got his hand to it, kept it in front.
Griff Logue acts as the small.
Big fella over it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Good by Fife. Just about break Mitchell's tackle at the centre bounce. Just here. Just give off a handball. A deep entry too from Fremantle. Puts the backs under enormous pressure.
And this is where all day Hawthorn have come back and stopped the momentum. So let's see what happens.
Back in the middle. Darcy wins the tap down to Fife. He tries to bullock his way through. Eventually it spits out to Brodie. Handball forward for Mundy. Overruns it. Switkowski clean. Picks it up. Handball straight to Nash though. Slaps it down towards a teammate. And eventually O'Meara away to Jouth. He gets it off to Mitchell. Back to Nash. And then Mitchell will kick laterally and spot up Howe. Can the Hawks stop the momentum again? A kick towards the wing. Picked up by Bramble. Wheels and kicks towards half forward. Through Ryan it goes at the back. It's come to Callow, but there's a free kick. It'll go to Freo. Ryan will get it at right half back for the Dockers. They lead by 8 points, 17 minutes into the third.
So Ryan, short to Sarong. And a metre in from the boundary at Ryan half back for the Dockers. It's told to move it on. Sarong kicks Fremantle towards centre wing. Flying was Lobb. Brought it to ground, but then taken under all of that was Newcombe. As Hartigan was trying to work it forward and ball it up again. Centre wing out of side. Darcy wings it down, but straight to Mitchell. Hand pass was meant for Bruce. Couldn't take it cleanly. Sarong picked it up for Fremantle. Hand pass to Mundy. Hand pass back to Fife, but it was over the boundary line before the Dockers captain could drag it in.
Hardwick may have given Mickey Walters a little tap.
A little hard whack from Hardwick.
Yeah. Just breathing the big ones in.
Spun in again. Darcy won it down. Hawks through Nash, try to work it away. Socket forward by Fife, only as far as Jath, though, just inside the centre square. He'll kick high up in the air. It'll bounce at centre half forward for the Hawks. Clever from Pearce. Tapped it down to Aish for Fremantle. Hand pass for Walker. Has time to just assess things and finds Banfield hard up against the boundary at left half back. Fremantle at 10-7-67. The Hawks 9-5-59. 18 gone in the third.
Banfield retreats with his kick. Back inside the D50 to Brennan Cox. Short to Ryan. Still inside the defensive arc. Ryan bites off the kick into the middle of the ground towards Fife. Over his head it goes. Swikowski will track after it. Sockers it out towards the wing. Good work for him, but Jath's there. He beats him to the footy and then burns him off. Holds up. Sarong pressures Jath. Eventually gets his kick away to Hardwick. And the Hawks in control across halfback.
Comes to Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw marks it right half-back. We'll move it short again to Morrison. Morrison trots back. Goes to Sicily. Hawthorn just working it around their defence at the moment. Now they'll come forward. Sicily's been able to spot Bramble. And he marks on the logo. Commentary wing. Kicks to Ryan half-forward. Precise build-up from Hawthorn to Moore. Day runs by, receives the hand pass, kicks towards full forward, one-on-one battle, won there by Hughes against Callow. He rushes it through for a minor score. 10-7-67 the Dockers, 9-6-60 the Hawks, 19 gone in the third.
Ryan brings the kick in quick. Straight to Cox at left half back. Now Cox, he's in no hurry. Doesn't have an option he likes yet, so he'll just kick long towards the wing in the lob direction. Sicily in good position. Lob crashes the pack. Brody roves it. Handball to no one. Newcomb onto the foot. He slips over, loses it. Stealing it, Schultz. Handball to Fife, who thinks he can take on Sicily. He can't. Sicily's helped out and caught his Fife holding the ball. Bramble came in to help out. Sicily lets him know about it. Schultz slings Sicily to ground, and it's going to be 50, is it? No. The ball will just have to come back. Sicily will have to take the kick.
Schultz not happy with Sicily there, with the treatment of their skipper.
He did give him a bit. It is 50. I thought the umpire gesticulated that there was 50 initially.
Oh, yeah, he gave him a good...
Give him one, yeah.
Whilst he's on the deck.
No, Sicily...
That's when he stood up.
Yeah.
March towards half forward.
Open-hander.
Fremantle lead by 7. Sicily drives it long towards full forward. Big pack forms off hands. It comes down in the goal square. Young mops it up. Handball to Cox. Handball to Ryan. Handball to Mundy in the right back pocket for Freo.
Mundy kicks towards the southern wing. Jath backing back with courage. Bounced off Banfield. Brings the ball to ground though. It spills to Mitchell. Comes to Newcomb. Spears it inside forward 50. Wingard.
Would have been a free kick anyway. I think now 50 on against Sarong.
It is. So Wingard will charge through and he'll just dribble it through from the goal square to make it a 1-point game. 10-6-66 now the Hawks. 10-7-67 the Dockers. 22 gone in the third. Wingard with his second.
Well, it's been a terrific last 3 or 4 minutes for young Jath off the half-back line. He's been able to get involved in the play, get some repeat entries in from, just does some really clever stuff, like when he's in the contest about to get tackled, instead of taking possession, he'll just tap it out to his teammate. He's got really good awareness and he's got a lot of run, and I've really enjoyed his work off half-back for the Hawks. And once again, they've cut the momentum. Yeah, it's the arm wrestle we were talking about at the start of the game.
That was his contest, though, at half-back there, Jath.
Fantastic.
Just back.
Yep.
Caused a spill.
We spoke about it pre-game. The Hawks have been the Dockers' bogey side throughout their history, 28-11, the head-to-head record. It's their bogeymen dressed up in brown and gold. Brayshaw, handball to Sarong. Sarong's tackled by Newcomb. Held in. And a previous Rising Star winner tackled by maybe a future Rising Star winner. Hawks just won't go away. Ball up on the logo. Mitchell quickly tackled. And we'll go again. Dockers by a point. 4 goals to 2 in this second half. Reeves wins the tap down to Mitchell. Here's Newcomb. Snaps it inside attacking 50. Off the hands of Young. Might have taken the mark in the end. Umpire says no play on. He's tackled to ground. Could have easily been paid the mark. It wasn't to be. Ball up 40 metres out from the Hawks attacking goal.
Ball loft. Reeves won it down at the back. Put it into the corridor. Kajitsky got there. Oh, lovely hand pass. Butler snaps, misses. Had the quick shot at goal. Puts it out to the left-hand side. Scores level. 10-7, 67 apiece. 23 gone in the third on Grandstand AFL.
So Ryan with the kick in. Really short to Hayden Young. Scores level, as Clint said. Young wheels to the pocket, drives a low ball towards the logo. No mark taken. Spits out into the middle of the ground. Sarong waits for it to bounce. Now gathers. Handball for Switkowski. Misses Hing. Logue picks it up. Back to Switkowski. He'll go with a little check side inside 50. Picking it up, Walters. Has men on. Can't get out of a nest of Hawks. Eventually does to Brody. Brody spots up Aish. Great kick. Mark paid. Aish has marked it. 35 out. Slightly right of centre. Great kick from Will Brody.
I think Aish would have probably loved it to be a fraction 5 metres to his left, so he doesn't have to run.
By great kick, I mean the great vision to spot him there on the fat side.
It was good by Michael Walters, wasn't it? Just in traffic, didn't panic, just didn't throw it in the boot. Just feed that handball back to Will Brody.
Only has one goal on the season. That was last week. Fremantle would love this. Aish comes in, drives it home. Fremantle out by a goal again. 11-7-73 to 10-7-67. 25 minutes into the third.
Jeez, entertaining third quarter, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is.
That's a mark.
Yeah. He's got to be aware of the winger there sliding in.
Yep.
Cash Fodadar downstairs.
Yeah, I've just been keeping a close eye on Caleb Sarong. He seemed really agitated for about the last 5 minutes or so. He gave away that 50 for dissent to the umpire, and he's been talking to the umpire a little bit. I think he's getting some unwanted attention from some of the Hawthorn midfielders, so just keep an eye on him at this centre bounce.
So out the centre bounce. Good bounce too. Lob got it down to Sarong. Hand pass around the shoulder. Brayshaw back to Sarong by a hand to Brody. Hands it off to Hughes. Heads to the southern wing. And then kicks towards Aish, who marks, plays on, runs towards right half forward. Inside forward 50. That 5 marks.
That's the kick.
The kick was pretty good. The excitement was for where it went.
The old Ray Finkel laces out.
Yeah.
Can he return with a goal? It's a tough kick.
Just waited for the Fife to get into the space.
Back in the team. 321 days since his last AFL game. Nat Fife, the captain, returns. Can he put himself on the goal kickers list? Boots cross the 50.
Well, he called it early too.
The reaction told the story. 11-8-74. The Fremantle Dockers 10-7-67. As they send it back inside forward 50 again. Spills down. Here is Fife. He soccers it off the grounds. They've got their 12th now. And Nat Fife does get a goal. 12-8-80 to 10-7-67. Fremantle's lead is 13 points. 27 minutes gone in the third term.
Well, there's definitely momentum in the building now with the Fremantle Dockers after their favourite son kicking a goal. This is a big, I'm not sure how long we've got left, 4 or 5 minutes, but this is huge for Hawthorn here. The game can be lost.
Yeah, re-entry. Can't have by Schultz, just the one that fell over the back for him.
6 goals to 2.
Loves that slap of the hands, doesn't he, JL?
In the third quarter, free kick in the middle. It'll go to the Hawks. Reeves kicks a high ball inside 50. Kaczynski will launch at it. Young from the side. Strong grab. Jeez, he launches at it and marks it, Young, doesn't he?
Great pick in the draft, this one.
Goes short laterally to Clark. He kicks beyond the defensive arc. Away to Ryan. 13 points. Freo's advantage. Closing in on three-quarter time. A big 3 or 4 minutes. As Shane Woden and Beau McDonald said, kick to the wing. Lands in the lap of Hartigan for the Hawks. Hartigan short to O'Meara. On the logo. O'Meara will want to kick towards half forward. He was pushed off his kick. Giath goes up, fists it inside, attacking 50 for the Hawks. Young onto the footy. He bursts through, then has nowhere to go, then slips over, recovers while on the deck. Handball away to Clark, handball to Walker. Fremantle work it out.
It's with Sarong at left half back. He hands it off to Akers. He'll kick towards the commentary ring, and Fife went out after it. Couldn't mark. Spoiled by Sicily. Umpire says no problem. Play on the Dockers. Gathering it was Brayshaw. Moved it on in turn to Akers.
They give it to Sarong.
Sarong, rather. And Sarong found Scrimshaw. Turned it over to Butler. Then towards Newcomb. Newcomb kicked towards full forward. Ryan was back there. Ryan hands it on again. It's with Hughes, who finds Aish beyond defensive 50. Kickers down the outer side and sliding to gather. Walters, hand passes over the top. This is Hughes. Hand pass again towards Mundy. Ran himself into trouble, but got a hand pass away to Hughes. And then back to Walters on centre wing.
Walters retreats back to Aish. David Mundy having a little bit of a dirty day. And there, caught in a little bit of a cul-de-sac. Aish goes back to Clark, right half back. He'll kick forward of the wing for the Dockers towards Darcy, who stands underneath it, hands to it, doesn't mark. Bouncing away with it for the Hawks is Day. Goes to Newcomb through the middle of the ground, slips as he kicks. It might work out. Bouncing ball, sits up for Bruce. Handball to Moore. Moore, handball away to Butler. Butler snaps. Kick smothered. Well done by Walker. Getting involved, Wingard. Butler goes again. Butler gets a handball away to Moore. Now getting involved with a strong tackle is Young.
Well done, Fremantle.
And we'll get a ball up. Right forward pocket for the Hawks.
Was it one more handball, you think, there, Beau?
Yeah, I thought Butler should have given that one more to his teammate. It would have been a certain goal.
Umpire puts it aloft. Darcy takes clean possession. Got a hand pass away to Young. Clearing kick beyond defensive 50 towards the northern wing. Sicily up against Lomp. Sicily punches it down. It bounces away from Schultz. And through the Dockers interchange, Gates, it'll be a throw-in. Freo's lead 13 points. They trailed by 10 at the half and by 3 at quarter time. Sarong leading the way with 29 disposals for them. Mitchell with 24. And the restart. Ball hits the deck. Nash got it. Gave it to Callow. Puts the Hawks towards the right forward pocket. In front, Pearce can't gather it. Spilled out though. Came to Butler. Tackled immediately by Ryan. More players piling over the top. Moore tries to rip it away. It's going to be a free kick here. And then Moore might have thrown one against Ryan then. And then he continues to have a bit to say with Walker. Needs to be careful it doesn't get turned over. Butler was involved heavily as well. Moore's got it 55 out from goal. Centering kick towards full forward. Wingard tried the massive fly. Did he go early? He did. Fremantle happy to take the free kick advantage. They beyond defensive 50. Collier, who finds Walters at right half back and marks.
So Walters has kicked a couple of goals in this third term. Fremantle have kicked 6 to Hawthorn's 2. Turned a 10-point deficit at the half to a 13-point lead. Hughes kicks around the boundary line. Finds Collier, who comes infield to Young. Young, backward of the logo, kicks into the middle of the ground and Walker. Walker now plays on, loops a handball away to Clark. Handball forward to Mundy, runs to 50, maybe to turn his day around, kicks on goal and just misses. It's not David's day.
She's aggressive there with 15 seconds to go.
14 points will be their advantage at the final change. A dominant third term for the men in purple. 12-9-81 to 10-7-67. 6 goals to 2 in that third term. We are going to get a score review, and the ball was a good metre over the line by the time Schultz marked it.
So we'll go through the process here. But Ben called it absolutely correctly. It's going to go down as a behind, and I can't believe they've needed to look at it 3 times to sort that out. Here we go. Ah, surprise, surprise. Behind on the scoreboard. 12-9-81 Fremantle at three-quarter time. 10-7-67. The goal kickers for the Hawks, plenty of them, and for the Dockers, they've shared it around. Schultz with a couple, Walters with 2. Fife, Akers, Aish, Walker, Collier, Lobb and Banfield. Why for the Hawks, 2 to Wingard, 2 to Moore, and singles to Morrison, O'Meara, Howe, Bruce, Kashitsky and Shields. The Hawks led by 3 points at quarter time, by 10 points at the half. The Dockers by 14 at three-quarter time. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
New from ABC Digital and DVD.
From the makers of Line of Duty comes a thrilling new crime series, Trigger Point.
X1, what's your location?
As terrorists threaten London,
You need to hurry!
30 seconds. An elite bomb squad risk their lives to counter the attacks.
They know call-out times, how we think, how we move, everything.
Realise the bombers could be here, watching every move we make.
Trigger Point, out now on digital and DVD. For details, visit abc.net.au/shop.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Comes out to Young. Young sets it up towards full forward for the Dockers. Offhands it, comes to the back. Walters will waltz into an open goal. Take the advantage. Freo get the first in the second half.
Akers up the middle of the ground. It comes to Brayshaw. He gets it back. Runs to the centre circles. Akers kicks inside the attacking 50. Logue was up. Couldn't mark, but running by. Walters receives the hand pass. Runs it through for his second. Coast to coast, the Dockers. And they hit the fronts.
Bruce feeds it back towards Howe, who kicks to half forward for the Hawks. No mark taken. Mundy gets back. Oh, that bounces the wrong way for him. Callow, handball to O'Meara. Off to Morrison. Morrison fires. Hawks back in front. Umpire brings it back in. Darcy and Reeves. Darcy brings it down straight to Akers. Can dump it on the boot and snap it through. The purple stick their nose in front. A 10th lead change.
Mundy kicks inside the attacking 50. No mark taken. Spill down there to Logue. Hands it off to Swinkowski. Steps around an opponent. Banfield's on his own in the goal square. He sends it into the second tier. Bailey Banfield with 2. As they send it back inside forward 50 again. Spills down. Here is Fife. He soccers it off the ground. They've got their 12 now. And Nat Fife does get a goal.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Our next stop today, and our second stop of the afternoon, is up for Brisbane versus St Kilda. To give us a preview, Quentin Hull. G'day, Q.
G'day, Clint. It's cool by local standards, but a clear night expected at the Gabba for a really intriguing contest. The Brisbane Lions on the quick turnaround from the West. 6 days since they were beaten by the Dockers over at Perth Stadium last Sunday, but they're back at home where they have an imperious record, particularly in home and away football over the last couple of seasons. And they welcome the Saints, who have had 13 days to freshen after claiming their third consecutive victory against North Melbourne back in round 11. So the Saints off the bye and up north to try and prove that they are legitimate contenders for the top 4 in this 2022 competition. And they're doing it with a couple of their small forwards back tonight, with Jack Higgins and Dan Butler back into the team. And of course the Marshall-Ryder combination has been so good in the ruck. The Lions have now got Joe Danaher back and have decided that's enough of Darcy Fort for now. It's been a big talking point How will all the tools structure? I've gone the 3 forwards and the 1 specialist ruckman in McInerney, with Danaher to play his first game since injuring his shoulder at the SCG in round 7. Should be a really intriguing battle, this one. Brisbane and St Kilda, the next stop on Grandstand AFL.
Good on you, Q. Shane, Bo. Goodness me, what a quarter to come. What happens from here, do you think?
Yeah, great quarter by Fremantle. Just more effective. I think 12 entries they had that quarter for 9 shots, 6 goals, 3. So when they did go forward, they were more impactful and obviously more effective and hit the scoreboard, which is really important.
Well, the Hawks had more inside 50s, didn't they? Just didn't capitalise.
Yeah, Blake Acres was big that quarter. So was Sarong. Sarong more by hands is where his impact has been today around clearance. His midfield craft's been very good, but how clean he is around the ball with his hands has been elite. And that's where he's had the impact today. Not necessarily by foot as such. But, you know, it's up for an entertaining last quarter, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Look, Freo have got the momentum, but as has happened all day, Hawthorn have popped up at the right time. So we'll see if it happens again.
4 points are up for grabs. Here we go. Final term. And Reeves wins it down to get things started for the Hawks. Brayshaw, though, will backtrack and gather. Hand pass at centre-half back finds Young. Kicks towards the southern wing. Stretching for it. Banfield can't mark. It's down to Scrimshaw, though. Shares it with Nash for the Hawks. Steps inside Switkowski. Short pass finds Bruce. Marks on the commentary edge of the centre circles. He'll kick towards left half forward. Waiting to mark on his chest is Frost. 52 out from goal. He'll wheel around. Put it towards full forward. 2-on-2 battle. Kajitsky brought it to ground and the Dockers are happy to watch it off his hands tumble through for a minor score.
Frosty looks a bit sore.
10-8-68 the Hawks, 12-9-81 the Dockers. Early stages, fourth quarter.
I think you're right, well, he's waving to the bench. It looks like he's got a good cork, I think.
Short kick in from Ryan to the back pocket and Young. Fremantle leading by 13 points. They led by 14 at the final change. Young towards the wing. Logue launches at it, doesn't take the mark. Darcy with the rove, gets the handball away towards Akers, soccers it back into the contest, and eventually it's out of play, a throw in. Can the Hawks come again? Fremantle this year, a perfect 8-0 when ahead at three-quarter time. So that would suggest no. But these kinds of records are made to be broken.
Just numbers Hawthorn have around the footy here. Forwards up.
Darcy wins the tap down. Brody coming through. Soccers it to himself. Flicks it on then. Then Brayshaw flicks it to Brody, who picks it up and handballs it back to him. Handball for Fife. Fife draws a couple. Handballs to himself. Handball to Brayshaw. Handball to Brody. Handball to Switkowski. All of this down the northern wing. And Switkowski rolled like a crocodile by Sicily, who's bumped over by Logue. Akash Fotadar downstairs.
Yeah, Frost has been taken straight down to the rooms by the Hawthorn doctor.
He looked worse for wear as well. He made his way down there. Throwing in Darcy, palmed it down for Fremantle. Brody running by, couldn't gather. Fife could, got a hand pass strong away to Brayshaw. Back to Darcy by hand, now to Cox. Kicks Fremantle into the right forward pocket. One-on-one battle. Sicily behind Logue and he wins the contest.
Just gave up his back there, Griff Logue, didn't he?
Yep.
Just poor stance in that contest.
Sicily marks. Kicks back towards the commentary wing. Darcy got hands to it. Spilled down. Pearce went out after it. And had it held to him in the tackle. Kajitsky, the player, over the top of him. Will ball it up.
He'll learn that more time he spends there as a forward.
Darcy versus Reeves. Darcy front position, palmed it down on the logo. Brody gathered. His hand pass, though, intercepted. Bramble chopped it off, won it down, and then got it to Nash. Kicks the Hawks to a one-on-one inside forward 50. Wingard stretches with the left. Can't mark, spills to ground. Luke Ryan was back there for the Dockers. Hand pass back to fullback. Oh, Young! Under real pressure from Wingard. Got tackled, just got a hand pass out. Walker is back to lend support, hands it off to Young, who gets away with that. Goodness me. A thumping kick beyond defensive 50 towards left half back, but a mark's been taken out there by Scrimshaw. He's got it for the Hawks.
So Scrimshaw, kicking around the corner beautifully onto the chest of Bruce, who marks 48 metres out, 5 metres in from the boundary line at right half forward.
Big kick in the scheme of this one.
It's in the hands of the person you want it in.
Yeah.
This guy is a sharpshooter. This time he sets it up towards the top of the goal square. Big pack forms. Reeves! The big men don't get any smaller the longer the day goes on. He marks at the top of the goal square for the Hawks.
I don't know why Sean Darcy's got the arms up. Like, boys.
It's his responsibility, isn't it?
Hey,
Yep.
it's your responsibility.
Yep.
All 209 centimetres of him.
Each defender's got an opponent.
I've liked how Reeves has pushed forward and put it on Darcy because he's not real good in that back 50.
He's gone a long way back, hasn't he?
Big run up.
Big run up.
Got like a guard of honour from the players. 15 out, directly in front. Nervy looking, but the desired result. The Hawks come again. Back to 7 points.
Big fella.
11-8-74 to 12-9-81. 5 minutes into the fourth term on Grandstand AFL. Bo McDonald, Shane Wood.
Well, he's 209 centimetres, Big Ned, and I reckon his ball drop's about 5 foot. He's a bit nervous, but really good how he's pushing forward. So Darcy has to think now. He has to have a look and see where Reeves is. He knows he can go forward and take a catch and kick a goal. Just got to be careful you don't get done at going back the other way.
The tallest Hawk in the history of the club is Ned Reeves.
Big Ned.
As the Hawks, they're still eyeing off win 1,000. Still a chance to happen today in the West. 7 points the difference. Fremantle in front. 5.5 gone in the last. Fremantle win the clearance. Darcy down to Fife to Brayshaw. The clever kick just shy of right half forward is marked by Akers. He'll quickly send it towards full forward for Fremantle. They come from everywhere. Spoilt the side from Scrimshaw. Sees the ball ricochet off his fist and over for a boundary throw in at right full forward for Freo. Doc is heading to the city end of Perth Stadium to the right of our broadcast position in the final term. Still the rain has stayed away, thankfully. Spun back in. Darcy got hands to it. Got a hand pass away as he was tackled by Reeves. Brodie picked it up, gave it to Brayshaw. Hand pass was a bit too hot for Akers. He might have spent it before he had it. Through his hands and over for another throw in. 45 out from Freo's goal. A cash followed up quickly downstairs.
Yeah, Josh Morris has taken the warm-up top off, so it looks like the sub has been made, and it's a knee concern for Sam Frost.
Umpire spins it back in, slapping it down lob onto the footy. Newcomb, out of play it goes. So Morris to check into the game. Mick Malthouse this morning on Sports Talk airing his concerns about the legitimacy of some substitutions with the Medi-sub. Corbin Middlemass has been running the stat all year. I think Mick's carrying on with that. As from the throw-in, O'Meara picks it up, kicks towards the wing. Wingard comes up, slaps it on. Pearce will track after it for the Dockers. He'll knock it towards Ryan, picking it up eventually. Kaczynski loses it in the tackle. Pearce goes back in. He loses it. Shields steals it. Gives it off to Wingard. Kicks the Hawks inside 50. The Dockers are back there through Aish. Draws a couple. Handball to Walker. Walker dangerous. Oh, hard in mouth stuff, but it finds Hughes, who kicks back to Cox.
That's a kick of extreme confidence and a measure of luck, and it worked out okay. And then Hughes went back to Cox in the left back pocket. Beyond defensive 50, the kick again had to be precise, and it found Walters. Walters goes down the commentary wing, or the outer wing, finds Schultz on the logo. Schultz will thump it inside forward 50. Load! Have a shot. Don't be unselfish here, Griffin. Go back and have the shot at goal. You'll be kicking from 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left. Not a noted goal kicker, but certainly has the ability to carry the distance.
Yeah, assertive defence there by Hardigan. High in front. And once Lockie Schultz was able to play on, he got out the back.
Looking for his fourth goal in a 54-game career. Griffin Logue puts boot to ball. It's going to be narrow. He misses to the left-hand side. No problems with the distance, mind you. 12-10-82 Freo, 11-8-74 the Hawks, 8.5 gone in the last.
Day with a short kick in to Hardwick in the back pocket, who runs around his man Walters, drives the Hawks long towards the wing. Off hands, it comes to the back and Hughes gathers. Handball away to Young, has time, stops and then kicks towards Aish. Fremantle leading by 8 points, almost 9 minutes into the fourth. Can they get to 10-3 at the bye? Both of these teams with the bye to come next week. Hughes will kick the Dockers to half forward. Nobody in great position. Lob able to bring it down, looking for Switkowski. Eventually it spits out to Sarong. He's dragged off his kick by Day. Umpire says play on. Walters, handball to Lob. Lob kicks into the pocket towards Akers. Right there with him, Morrison. Morrison fights a draw. Close to the boundary line, it's eventually out. And a throw in. Right forward pocket for the Dockers. They lead by 8 points. The Hawks have kicked the only goal of this fourth term.
Brayshaw with 30 disposals again. Tom Mitchell with 24 leading the way for Hawthorn. Ball back into play. Neither ruck got towards it. Akers has a swing at it, missed it. Schultz tries to pick it up. O'Meara did, got it to Sicily. Back to Jath, kicked around the body, bounced in the direction of Butler. Couldn't control the footy, had a second go to dive on top of it. Ball's coming out the side. Morrison, anywhere will do. Surely that's not far enough to be a mark. It's been paid to Kajitsky anyway. It's no more than 6 or 7 metres away. Did well to grab the footy, I'll give him that. Kicks towards the commentary wing. Off the hands of Brennan Cox. It spills down to Clark. Hand pass to the Dockers, inboard to Brayshaw. Disposal 31 as a kick towards right half forward. Banfield brings it to ground. Sicily meets it coming up one way, then tackled over the line by Alex Pearce. Ball in. 55 out from Freo's goal. 12-10-82 the Dockers, 11-8-74 the Hawks. 11 gone in the last.
Next goal critical. Winning the tap, Nash brings it down boundary side, going after it. Mitchell, it's out and will go again.
Got to get Ned Reeves on really quickly while Sean Darcy's off.
Yeah, because
and a bit sore. He might be all right, but may have rolled an ankle in a tackle.
Umpire to spin it back in. The players wait pensively. Lob lays it down to Young. Sweeping the contest, he jams it on the left boot. High ball inside 50. Good mark. Sicily outpoints Banfield to claim it. Deep in the left back pocket. 8 points, Fremantle's lead.
Sicily beyond defensive 50 towards the wing commentary side. Big pack up off hands. It spills down to Moore, who'll kick towards left half forward. Cox is out after it. He's got 2 to beat. His Shields very clever. Tapped it on towards Bruce. He breaks away from Akers. Bruce from 51 out. Open goal square. How does it bounce? Across the face for a minor score. Aish and Walker were charging towards it. They wouldn't have been able to stop it, but it misses to the right. 11-9-75 the Hawks. 12-10-82 the Dockers. 12 gone in the last. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and Sport Digital.
Aish waits his kick in nicely for Brayshaw. He marks 49 out from his defensive goal. 32nd disposal coming up for Andy Brayshaw. Leads all players on the ground. Kicks towards Lob and Darcy, and Lob in front marks. Standing tall, Rory Lob. 7 points. The spread between Fremantle and Hawthorn, the Dockers lead. Lob kicks in the low direction. Up he goes. Can't complete the mark. Brodie Robes gets a handball away. Giath claims it and carries it out. Throw in. 65 around from the Dockers goal. 12-10-82 plays 11-9-75. 12 and a half into the fourth. A close Saturday afternoon match out west.
Brayshaw off for a rest. Fife is back on for Fremantle. And so too Darcy, but it's Reeves who wins the tap down. Shields trying to tap it to his own advantage. Mundy got there first. Hand pass over the shoulder. Morrison, can he just keep it in? Not quite. Trying to spin away from Fife and Sarong.
I don't know if Blake's done his hammy, I reckon. Looks a bit dejected. Was holding it after that tackle.
Yeah, shot on the big screen. Certainly looks like he realises there's problems to come for Blake Acres.
Darcy Tucker, suit up, mate.
Tap was one down here by Darcy. Trying to get out of it was Sarong, who had a second go. Bounced off his shins. Came again to Mundy. Then to Brodie. Works it inside forward 50. Jath's able to take it. Then tackled by Switkowski. Ball jarred free. Socket out of trouble, but then out of bounds by the Hawks. Would have been frustrating plus for Day. Threw the boot at it. It's going to be a free kick to Young. Just shy of right half forward for Fremantle, who still lead by 7 points.
I want to get back to Blake Acres in a moment as Young drives it long towards the pocket. Big pack forms out the back. Walters roves it. Handball to Schultz. Snaps on goal. It's floating across the face. Hits the behind post out of bounds on the full. So the Hawks to get it back. Blake Acres was in tears on the bench.
Yeah.
And that looks like a guy who knows it's a really serious hamstring in a team that's a premiership contender. So that's really sad for Blake Acres. That was hard to watch.
It's been his best year too.
Well, he's been outstanding for him, Blake Acres.
Even today. Today's been very important.
So the ball's with Fremantle at left half forward. Aish kicks around the body. It bounces to Walters. Steps away from two. Hands it off to Collier. Collier from about 45 outs. Kicks what could be a vital goal for Fremantle. It's a wonderful finish. And it's the Dockers' 13th. And it gives them a handy break of 13 points as Collier brings up his second of the afternoon. 13-10-88 Fremantle, 11-9-75 the Hawks. 15 gone in the last on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron. Our experts, Beau McDonald and Shane Woden.
Two Hawthorn players there had the opportunity to stick that tackle on Walters. It just goes to show you, broken tackles inside that forward 50 are extremely costly, and well done by Michael Walters to be able to break that tackle and get the handball out to his teammate and Collier for the finish.
That's what we were speaking about pre-game when we were speaking about Walters. Is that class and polish? One touch, clean, slip through, quick hands, assist.
Fremantle back out by 13. Nash in the ruck, wins it at ground level, knocks it out to Mitchell, who knocks it forward towards Moore. His handball knocked on by Aish. There's a whistle. Free kick will go to Moore. So Moore in the middle of the ground. Will kick the Hawks into the pocket in the Kaczynski direction. Cox goes back, drops the mark, comes down at ground level. Hughes overruns it, has to double back. Cox comes to help out. The Hawks arrive through Kaczynski. Young eventually steals it. Hughes handball out towards Aish. Stolen by Morrison. Snaps the Hawks back towards full forward. And Nash marks. 20 out, Plum in front.
Just couldn't get the stoppage, could they? Couldn't get it out.
That's all you needed. Just play the percentages, reset, wait for the cavalry to arrive.
Geez, I thought it was a poor kick by Moore too.
Yeah, just not the percentages, was it?
No, well, when you need to win the game.
Yeah.
They're just not done yet. Nash comes in and misses. And that really hurts if you're wearing brown and gold.
Oh, that's an awful miss. Two footies on the ground as Young moves it to Ryan in the right back pocket. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Jaff backing back. Won it to ground for the Hawks. Hand pass came out the side. It was from Bramble. Fremantle to move right half forward. It's there again to be mopped up by Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw's kick was meant for Morrison. Bounces, he gathers, he runs inboard and goes short to Mitchell, but then cutting it off. Brayshaw won it to ground. Nash tries to mop things up here, sliding through. Probably might have been in a bit of strife when he was tackled by two Dockers, dragging the ball in. Fife coming one way, Logue the other. Officials thought it was okay. Ball up will be the decision. Head downstairs again in just a second to Akash Fodder. Reeves wins it down to Mitchell. Kicks the Hawks forward to Wingard. He's up and marking. Pauses as Hawks stream forward. The kick is into the left forward pocket. Slipping over then was Bruce. Allows Hughes to get away from him. Tucker, who's on the ground now for the Dockers, hands it off towards Young, who moves it towards Schultz. And Jaff has infringed Schultz. Knocked his arms as he was attempting to spoil. Schultz will have it on centre wing. Akash Fodder downstairs.
Yeah, as Ben mentioned, Blake Acres looking very dejected on the bench. The ice is on the right hamstring, and a lot of his teammates, as they come off, giving him pats on the head and trying to console him.
Here go the Dockers. They win it at half forward. Brodie kicks towards full forward. Morrison going back with courage. Gets a fist on it. Away towards Will Day, who handballs along the ground. Looking for Scrimshaw. Brayshaw fights after it. Logue picks it up. Handball to Walker. Handball to Brayshaw. Handball to Fife. Back to Brayshaw. Tries to snap inside 50. Hits the wrong side of the ball. and Nash comes up with it. He marks at centre half back for the Hawks. 12 points, Freo's lead. 19 minutes into the final term.
Nash playing on quickly. The Hawks come up the corridor. Bumping kick towards Bruce. Might have been infringed. He was. It was O'Meara with the long kick inside forward 50. My eyes immediately was at Hughes versus Bruce. Hughes has given away the free. He's right in front of goal here, Bruce. Has to kick it for the Hawks.
Bundy couldn't go with O'Meara up the middle.
Beautiful hit in the middle, wasn't it?
Oh, great kick.
So Bruce does what he needed to do. He kicks the goal. He's got his second. It's a 6-point ball game. 13-10-88 to the Hawks, 12-10-82. 20 gone in the final term. It's a ding-dong thriller here in the West on Grandstand AFL.
And just drew the free kick, just engaged Hughes. We got him around the head. Plus, he wasn't even looking.
Yeah, he didn't know where the ball was.
No.
Quick movement too. There was a really open 50. Pretty hard to defend.
It's an aggressive kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one to come back in the corridor to O'Meara to lower the eyes was beautiful. Well, it's on again.
Yeah, not going away at all.
They are not going away, the Hawks.
One straight kick. Time on in the fourth. How good. O'Meara out of the middle. Hacks it towards half forward for the Hawks. Sarong gets back, picks it up, gives it to Clark, who runs his measure. Kicks long towards half forward. Logan, good position. Oh, drops a mark he should have taken. Now he tries to go again. Scrimshaw does really well. Handball to Sicily. Handball back out towards Scrimshaw. Tackled by Logue. Forces a turnover. Banfield's tackled. Good tackle from Day. Handball away towards Logue though. Handball to Fife. To Tucker. Lobs on in the middle. Just needs to gather. He's almost run down. Collier in the goal square. Handball towards Brayshaw. He soccers it on goal. Soccers it through. Somehow. Ball at his feet. Swings a foot at it. Dribbles it home. Fremantle back out by 2 straight kicks. In behind Brayshaw's boot. 14-10-94 plays 12-10-82. 21 and a half minutes into the fourth.
Off the instep. What about Trav Collier's trap? That ball was flying from 5 metres away.
Yeah, that was like a hockey penalty corner. There was no separation. The ball and the foot, he just kind of pushed it through.
That's a genuine centre forwards goal, that, from Brayshaw. He's used his back and his butt to protect the football and then spun and hit it with the right.
It was a slow roller though. I would have backed the keeper to save it.
Oh no,
if there was one there.
The keeper's come out. He's been collided with somebody else. I think you're probably right. It was really well done from Brayshaw. Very well done. Hawks win it down. Nash has it. Gave it to Newcomb. Back to Nash. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Cox flew. Couldn't mark. Ricochets forward. Alex Pearce will get there first. He does so. Surrounded by Hawks. Wingard in particular. And then a lovely kick under pressure to Tucker, who marks in the left back pocket. A sub on, of course, for Akers. Injury to the right hamstring for Blake Akers. Looked like it was bad news too from his reaction. Massive disappointment downstairs. The kick towards the outer side. No mark taken. Spills down for the Hawks. O'Meara to Newcomb. A look to switch play here. Nicely worked out towards Howe. Slipped over as he took the mark. He'll bounce up just forward of the wing. Puts it back into the attacking 50. Strong grab, Brendan Cox.
Jeez, he's been good today.
He has been. It was made to work for that one. A smaller opponent, admittedly, but more threw himself at the football. Cox stood his ground. And he'll kick towards left half back. Hardwick wanted it more than Walters. He wins it down. Callow then sends it back towards forward 50. Brendan Cox got there again. Punches it away. Giath has it. Just inside the centre square. Worked a hand pass out. It comes towards Newcomb. His kick intercepted. Knocked to ground. And then Brayshaw. He sends it towards Logue, who marks it right half forward. Thought he'd stepped off his line. He has now. Has to take a bounce and go back to Brayshaw.
Brayshaw fumbles it. Allows in Newcomb for the Hawks. It'll handball along the ground towards Shields. Ace just got in his back. Free kick will go the way of Shields. The Hawks know they need to find a couple of goals and quick. A long kick towards half forward. No one with hands on it out the back. Ryan there for the purple. Handball to Clark. He'll kick laterally towards left half back and the sub Tucker. So Tucker marks on the wing. He'll chip it short. Away to Clark. So Fremantle happy to take a little bit of time out of the game. They lead by 12 points. 24 minutes and change into the fourth. Clark goes back to Ryan. Ryan will kick laterally to Hughes.
Hughes comes down the commentary wing and Schultz on hands to it. I thought he would have been paid a mark anyway, but instead he's going to get the free kick. Moore chopping the arms, and he looks to have hurt his ankle as well here, Moore. Won't have to worry too much about the stand rule. He can barely walk. He'll turn and trot away. Kick is towards the commentary ring. Fife flew. No mark taken. Spilled down. Callow is there. Got it for the Hawks. Hand pass though intercepted by Sarong. Sweep the hand pass to the middle of the ground. It came to Tucker. Running by is Clark. He'll put it inside forward 50. Walters provided body contact with his opponent. The ball hit the deck. Spilled there to lob. Back to Walters by hand for Fremantle. Steps one way, then the other. Hand passes to Clark beyond defensive 50, who decides to fire at goal but will miss. It's a minor score to the left-hand side. 14-11-95 to 12-10-82. And the official crowd announced 39,428.
Might be a handy point. The Hawks go up the middle. They know they have to take some risks. Mundy wins it back in the middle of the ground. Gives it off to Sarong, who moves it out wide to Tucker on the southern wing. Looks short. Lob on the lead. Oh, drops it. He should have taken it. Now has to go again at ground level. Held in. Will get a ball up. Hayden Young coming from the ground. Blood streaming from the beak. Umpire puts it aloft. Slapping it down Darcy. Clearance for the Hawks towards the wing. Going after it, Mitchell. Mitchell gets his right boot onto it. Kicks forward of the wing. Pearce is there. And Pearce is able to mark for the Dockers. Just backward of halfway. And on the southern side of the ground, moves it short to Mundy.
So David Mundy, who by his standards has had a below par day, but has still had a bit to do. Kicks towards left half forward. No mark taken. O'Meara shoveled a hand pass forward. Schultz looked to get to it. Shields sliding through. Gathered. Got a hand pass away to Moore. Then to Newcomb for the Hawks. To O'Meara once more. Hand passes to Howe. Hawthorn playing hand pass games through the middle of the ground as it comes to Sicily, who'll now put boot to ball towards left half forward. Ace Courageous. Knew that Shields was there. Tracked the ball. Won it down. Hand pass to Walker. Got it back from Walker. And at right half back, he'll kick down the commentary wing to Logue. Had hands, couldn't quite mark it. Got him to it. Spilled out to Sicily. Schultz lends some support. Hand pass to Brayshaw. Forced to go back with the kick. Disposal 37 for him. And he finds Aish, who marks. The Dockers are content now to just hold on to the football. They're on their way to their 10th win of the season.
Aish kicks forward of the wing. Looking for Darcy. Darcy can't take the mark. Out the back it comes. Morrison onto the footy. Handball away. Sicily will carry it out. We'll get another throw in.
Been brave, Hawthorn.
Yeah, they've been fantastic today.
Yeah.
Just kept coming back.
Fremantle lead by 13 points with their 10th win of the season. Umpire spins it in. Darcy knocks it down. Newcomb can't quite gather it. Mundy pressures Nash. Handball away, Swikowski. Now Schultz picks it up. Handball back towards Darcy. The big man can't quite bend over. It's socket out of there. Eventually Mitchell picks it up. The Hawks go through the middle of the ground. Long kick towards half forward. Out the back it goes. Bruce trying to run onto it. He can't quite. Knocks it away. Coming through Hughes. And Pearce is there to mop up.
Fremantle make it 3 wins in a row. Their captain returns to a victorious side. The Dockers will go to the bye 10-3 in season 2022. They've beaten the Hawks by 13 points. 13 is a lucky number when you're up against your bogey team. The Dockers have now won their past 4 against a side who caused them so much grief for so many years. 14-11-95 Freo. The Hawks 12-10-82. The goal kickers for Fremantle, Schultz with 2, Walters with 2, Collier with 2 and Banfield with a couple as well. Singles to their captain on return, Nat Fife, Brayshaw, Akers, H, Walker and Lobb. While for the Hawks, 2 goals to Moore, 2 to Wingard, 2 to Bruce. Singles to O'Meara, to Morrison, to Howe, to Kashitsky, to Shields and to Reeves. Fremantle found themselves 3 points down at quarter time. They trailed by 10 at the break. And again, their third quarter proved so influential. They led by 14 at three-quarter time and went on to win by 13. 14-11-95, 12-10-82. The Dockers, as Ben said, with their 10th win of the year, 10-3 to go to the bye round. Shane Woden, Bo McDonald. What a hugely entertaining, gripping game of football. The Hawks coming in at 13th spot. They gave this their all, and they looked at times like they might cause one of the genuine upsets of the season. The Dockers just doing enough at the end to get it done, but that was a ripper.
Great game, entertaining, went all the way. I reckon for 3 quarters, a real arm wrestle. I reckon where Freo broke it up was in the third. They dominated, and that's the gap in the game that I reckon. And but other than that, I reckon Hawthorn can hold their heads really high today. They gave a great effort. They were in it to the final siren. I thought that third quarter where Fremantle were able to be a bit more effective with the ball when they went forward and influenced the game was the difference.
Yeah, and look, I think it'd be fair to say we didn't see Fremantle play their best football today, but to come away with a win is a fantastic sign. It's a sign they're going in the right direction. They'll go back and review a fair few things, but look, I think the Hawks were fantastic today. Like you said, Wowie, they've beaten, they've beaten the 2 teams in Brisbane and Melbourne up the top there, and then they've got close to Fremantle as well. So look, it's good signs, and it'll just be that consistency for them. But for them to come over to the West and they put up the fight they did, they should be pretty proud of themselves. But on the flip side, look, the Dockers done enough to win. Probably didn't play their best football, but I think it's going to be a good back half of the year for the Dockers.
Yeah, they won it off stoppage a little bit today in territory battle. 4 goals, 4 from centre bounce, which is really a big number. Where I thought Hawthorn hurt Fremantle off turnover. Kicked 9 goals, 8 off that too. So, Fremantle leaked 61 inside 50s. Yeah. So they belted them in that area, Hawthorn, but just weren't able to capitalise and be more effective when they did go forward.
Yeah, missing the 2 key goal kickers up the front for them cost them a little bit in the end, and may have made them a little bit more efficient. Anyway, yeah, it was a great game, good contest. Some hard footy. One of those days when you're driving to the ground as a player, you really got to steel yourself. It's cold, it's wet, and you know what the game's going to be like for 4 quarters. So well done by both sides today.
Yeah, well, that plus 23 at contested footy today, Fremantle. So had some moments. I thought, but Joe will be happy with that. This time of year, just to win games and get banked to 4 points. Sometimes you've got to win a little bit uglier than what previous, but again, mate, with that back in unscathed.
Better for the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Big loss in Blake Acres. That's a huge out for Fremantle, for the next, and it looked bad too, so it could be tendon, a long-term one. He was dejected, a bit emotional on the sidelines, so he must know that's a bad one.
Is it? I mean, a lot of it's changed now. Back in the day, it's, automatic 21 days, you pulled your string. Hugh McCluggage was an example of pulled his string. He's back 2 weeks later. It just amazes me. I mean, do you think he knows it's going to be a long one, or
the reaction downstairs?
Yeah, he was emotional. He was crying on the bench.
It's one of those where he almost must know. Like I wouldn't say he didn't seem to be as dramatic as like pulling it off the bone, but he must know he's done some serious injury to it.
He's done a couple, I think, too, hasn't he? Yeah. So he knows your body and Brisbane are very good up there rehabbing hamstrings, mate. It's a great win.
He's moving okay. So, I mean, he's got a limp up. Just held his hands up as Brent Cox came over to him as if to say, I don't know.
So that's where, again, the difference when we've seen guys pull it off the bone before, they're on crutches afterwards.
Until you scan
it. Tendon's generally really bad too. I mean, the fact that he's...
Yeah, it's a good sign.
I think it's a positive sign. It might be a bad hamstring. It might be more than the garden variety 21-day hamstring that you were speaking about, Bo, but hopefully it's not tendon. Hopefully it's not off the bone and we see him again in a few weeks.
So... it shouldn't be, but it is, because he's been the talking point for 2 weeks. Nat Fyfe, assess how he went in his first game back today, because there will be Dockers fans walking out the door today saying it's great to have the skipper back. I think he did some good things today. I think you summed it up perfectly in the pre-game. Let's not expect too much of him. But how did you assess his return after 321 days?
Oh, serviceable. He's had 22. He's had 3 shots on goal. And JL said off the top too, he's going to be rusty. He's got nerves, and that showed. A little bit fumbly, handballed a lot today, and he got through. That's the main thing, They'll assess how he pulls up in the next 48 hours, which is a good thing. It'll be good for the run. They get next week off, didn't you say?
They do. By next week for them, and then Carlton.
So whether or not he plays another game for Peel, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
they do that just to get another run in his legs, or they put him on ice and wait till fortnight?
Good question. I'd be suggesting they'll just say you can have a rest again. Nathan, you've done your time with Peel. Let's go down into the Dockers rooms. Akash Fodadar is waiting down there as the Dockers head your way, Akash.
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, they're just filing in now, of course, led by Nat Fyfe, the skipper, in his comeback game. Nothing over the top in the celebrations here. They're all pretty low-key as they slowly gather into their circle to get ready for the song. We're just a couple of moments away here.
So they're making their way down towards where Akash is.
Here we go.
It may only be for 3 hours or so, but the Dockers, at this point in time, sit second on the ladder behind the Demons. Brisbane, of course, the chance to jump back ahead of them. They're taking on St Kilda, which is where our next stop will be in about 18 minutes from now. We'll head across and join Quentin Hull and the grandstand team for Brisbane versus St Kilda. Ben Cameron will have a look at some of the numbers for us. We'll also get the thoughts, the votes in the Christian Medal and the ABC Football of the Year, and we'll try and grab an interview for you. If we can't, we'll record one, and I know the team up in Queensland will play that to you at halftime in their game as well. But Ben, what do the numbers tell us?
All of the final numbers, 458 disposals to 324 for Fremantle. Contested possessions, they were plus 22 in that area in the end. The Dockers plus 3 in clearances, inside 50s. Hawthorn had more, 61 to 47. The hit-outs in the end, 46 to 27, the way of Fremantle. Leading ball winners, Andy Brayshaw, just getting so much of the footy at the moment. 37, Sarong 33, 31 for Hayden Young for the Hawks, O'Meara 30, Tom Mitchell with 28. And for anybody wondering, Fremantle actually won this game at the 14-minute mark of the second term when Lockie Schultz kicked his second goal.
And you called it.
Because that is now 17 times he's kicked multiple goals. Fremantle have won all of them.
You did call it too. Credit to you. Got to stop laughing. It still makes me cough. 14-11-95, the Dockers. 12-10-82, the Hawks. For our listeners, you mentioned throughout Victoria, indeed, I have to be fair, throughout the country, because there was a huge turn-up of Hawks fans today. Well done, filling, I'd say, 4 or 5 bays at the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. Those in brown and gold, and they certainly made their presence felt too. But there was, again, it's a squad that is working towards something under Sam Mitchell. Yeah. They were impressive at times today. I really like what they do. They've got a pretty good mix, and some of the youngsters coming through look like they will be able to have a real impact in years to come. There's a lot to like about the Hawks.
There is, absolutely. But they're stalwarts again through the midfield thereabouts, so the reliance on O'Meara and Mitchell. So a couple of inside mids to be able to come through the group would be really important for them, I think. You know, they've got Ward in the draft, which will be important. He's not playing, obviously, at the moment, but they certainly can hold their head high. They've sort of had a crack at it and fought to the death, but just a heavy reliance on those senior boys, which are important for them to be able to be playing well. But yeah, I love what they do today. I thought their heat was really good. They contributed on the scoreboard. Off turnover, they were brave and daring and got it inside 50 a bit. A lot to like.
Now, they're still without, of course, McAvoy, their captain, who is so influential. But as our ruck expert here in the box, Bo McDonald, how did you think that Reeves went today?
Yeah, look, I thought he held his own to the fact that Darcy really didn't have a big influence on the game. And look, that's all you'd want from Reeves. You don't need to go out there and do any more than that. Just take away Darcy's influence today, and he'll continue learning. He's a big unit, a 209, 210 centimetre player. That's a fair bit more height on Darcy. And look, we're starting to see more of those blokes run around. Gawn's the same. He's up there, that height. There's a lot of them running around in the league now. Back in the day, it was 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Now they're just that little bit taller. They move even better. Yeah. I liked his tap work. There was a couple of times he got someone out of the centre bounce, and, he had a nice, soft, directed tap. But yeah, Darcy would have been a challenge for him. Young fella, tall. Darcy's very strong now, knows how to use his body. So I thought he held his own today. I liked how he started pushing forward and got that mark and kicked the goal. That's a good little thing to have in your backpack, to be able to go forward and get the opposition ruckman chasing you and thinking about you more than the other way. And like I said, it sometimes stops Darcy from pushing hard and putting it back on you down in his forward line. It's a little game of cat and mouse, I suppose. But yeah, he done well in the middle, made some strong contact, which was in the centre bounce, which then enabled him to use his height. And if he's not making that contact, it would have been a drama. But yeah, I thought he done quite well.
Had no influence on their tolls up front though, Hawthorn. None. So Kaczynski was nothing. Callow wasn't there. Yep. So they did lack some impact from their tools in that area of the game. They didn't really have any tools. They're not big monsters who can draw the ball to dangerous areas to allow them more boost, those types to come in and swoop in on it. So, but mind you, they held their own very well, I thought. And considering they didn't have that, and where those key defenders at Fremantle, well, I thought a bit at sea early. A bit at they lost a couple of contests. Yep. It looked a bit edgy.
I'll tell you what,
first half.
I'd love to know what Freo have been doing at half time, because every time they come out at 3/4 time, they get it right.
Yeah. Don't worry, I want to ask that question.
They changed gears.
What are they doing?
Well, it's 5 consecutive weeks they've trailed at half time. The first 2 they didn't turn it around, the 2 games in the wet, but the last 3 they've significantly turned it around, and a 3rd consecutive come from behind victory at half time. It's also now in the last 3 weeks after half time, 4 they've scored 190 points and conceded 99. So almost going 2-1 after half time in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, they certainly, I think they change gears and they go and they just put the foot down, don't they?
Yep.
Scoring goes up really quickly.
Yep.
Just surge it more forward and go and put it down. Yeah, they'll have to question what they're doing in that first half and their pre-game stuff in that last month.
Yep.
But but also it's the opposition too. They're not going to just come to a game and just roll in and go through the motions. They're going to bring a contest and the heat too. So it does take 4 quarters to win it. You're not going to blow a team off the park in the first 10 minutes of the game. So yeah, it was a great game.
It was a great game, and I cannot wait for Fremantle versus Carlton in a fortnight's time. How big, whether it's 2nd and 4th or whatever, 3rd and 4th, wherever it happens to be. The Blues, they're up and about. The Docklands, it's the early game on the Saturday, but yeah, that will be something to behold. Michael Voss's side that looked very impressive up against this Fremantle side that just keeps ticking every box except one, and that was one that they didn't have any control over, which is we still don't know if they can win in the wet, because we thought it was going to bucket down all day today, and it didn't.
Stayed coastal, didn't it?
It was.
They closed the roof at Marvel even in day games now, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They just shut it.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, controlled. At least you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, fine day.
There was
no sun,
no roof to be shut here. The Coliseum at the stadium, the fabric roof, a challenge to shut. I would still say. I remember when Colin Barnett came into the box, the Premier at the time, and we asked him why you've decided not to build a stadium with a roof. He said it doesn't rain that much in Perth. And then it rained for the next 4 games in a row.
In winter, it rains all the time here.
Rains more in Perth than it does in Melbourne, which it's just one of those things that people tend to overlook. It rains a lot. But at least it didn't rain during today, so the Dockers will be very pleased with that. Let's get your thoughts. ABC Football of the Year and the Christian Medal. We'll see if we can head downstairs quickly for a cash if you can get us someone. But really in the meantime, give us your votes, chaps.
Yeah, really tough today. Really even contribution from all. But we've gone one for the best on ground, one for Jago O'Meara. Thought he was terrific today for the opposition in a losing performance. 2 to Hayden Young. Thought he was a bit off half-back. Was outstanding today, nearly 600 metres gained. And 3 to Caleb Sarong. His influence was enormous through the day. 20 contested possessions out of his 33. And very clean in these conditions, so very good.
Okay, so 1 to O'Meara, 2 to Young from Fremantle, 3 to Sarong from Freo. So the 1 vote in the Christian Medal?
Going to give it to Blake Acres for his 3.5 games.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was very good today. He's had nearly 700 metres for his 24, but only the 3 handballs. I just thought he gave him the yards and the metres today, and I thought it was one of his best games.
Yep. Any honourable mentions?
Certainly. Well, Brayshaw definitely. But
I was about to say.
Yeah, but he's only had 1 inside 50. He's only had 2 clearances and 4 contested possessions today, which is unlike him. So he's got a lot of footy. I thought a lot of footy today, which is great. Very clean with it, but just didn't have the influences what I thought others had.
So
Cox as well.
I asked you specifically about Fife and his game. Now we've seen the entire game. How do you think Fife's reintroduction to this team changed what Fremantle was doing? And those numbers from Brayshaw are really interesting when you talk about that, and the impact that Brodie had today too.
Yeah, I think it does have it. It might take a few weeks for it to nestle in and just settle for a little bit. Certainly off the first look of it, when you've got insiders playing outside, genuine insiders playing on a wing, it just might upset the apple cart a little bit. So yeah, it might just take time for it to adjust.
Is Fife one you play on the outside from the wing? And not so much putting him. He's still a good outside player as he is an inside player. And I suppose we're just looking at him as going inside and starting on ball. Maybe sit him on the wing and play a bit on the outside and see how he goes. Mate, not first game back.
Nah, it doesn't have the running power.
Yep.
The wing, from a structural point of view, offensively, defensively, in transition, not necessarily at stoppage, but in general play to get him behind the ball and slide, press forward. Yeah, he just doesn't have that go as like an Acres does or a Tucker does for that group. So he's definitely a forward mid type of. That's what I think. But yeah, handy first up. Handy first up. You'd be happy with it. It's good to get him back in. As JL said during the week, he's their captain. You know, he's that. And he leads from the front. His actions will speak. But you know, give him 4 or 5 weeks, and when he's really in and he's going, and he can start crashing through stoppage and taking it and getting his timing right in the air when he does go forward. He'll create some headaches for him, no doubt.
Rory Lobb continues to kick goals when required.
Yeah, look, I asked a question of him before the game, and I reckon he answered it. He competed. He didn't get outmarked. I think that's the big thing, and he brought the ball to ground for his smalls. And yeah, he competed. I thought when he went into the ruck, he was good. So yeah, I think he took another step forward. But I think that needs to be every week for the Dockers to be where they want to be. So well done to the big fella. He's been improving each week, and that's what they need up forward. Someone that's going to give him a contest.
Who said Freo by 2 goals at the start of the game? Was that you, Shane?
I said 3.
Said 3.
Did I say 3?
I said 4. You said 3. Did you say 2?
I said they'd get him in the last.
I said 4.
Got him in the third.
Yeah.
He'll be a lot closer than not 8. I said like here.
Sorry, guys. Just hop off the fence and say that again. At least I had the bravery to go wide.
I do think when you said it, I was like, well, that's brave, but only. I'll defend you again here, and I know you'll appreciate it. Pardon my French. Only because I thought it was going to bucket down. And I thought 8 goals as a result might be a
stretch.
Bit of a stretch in the weather. In the end, the weather was okay.
Yeah, it was.
Fremantle fans, should they start booking their tickets? You say no.
No, we've got 12 weeks to go yet. There's a lot of footy to be played.
Yep.
And they're in good form.
They are starting
really good footy.
Having a look at social media.
And you think they'll win the majority of their home games in the final stretch. But just maybe keep a lid on it. I reckon, which is I think is important. But
prices go up very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. Some would do.
I don't know. If I was a Fremantle fan, I'd be thinking about making a little investment to get across to Melbourne around this time. And
they're playing in September, no doubt.
That's right.
Yeah,
and so therefore you give yourself that chance. Well, I'd rather just pay the ridiculous amount of money now than an exorbitant, ridiculous amount of money in a couple of weeks.
Got an opportunity to play home games here in the finals.
Yeah, that's the big
qualifying in a prelim if they,
which opens everything up.
Opens up absolutely everything. No travel, play at Optus. They play well here.
It was a big win last week against Brisbane that sit just above them on the ladder to be able to, that they could find, Dockers could find themselves sitting in second, like you said, Wowie, and get that home run.
Well, they're sitting in second now. Thanks very much for your company, everyone. From Bo McDonald to Shane Woden, outstanding as always, to Ben Cameron. And of course, downstairs a Cash Fodderar, who will have a chat with someone which we can play later on Grandstand AFL. Repeating full time. The Dockers win their 10th of the season, 14-11-95 to the Hawks, 12-10-82 in front of 39,428. The Lions and the Saints, they're up next.